Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It's all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now available on eBay. You can add this to your collection. Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event. Number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
Cheer! Why, hello! I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product, so support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
What's going on, everyone? This is Dave with Wrestling Insiders, and we're going to be doing a watch-along to WrestleMania I. It's going to be Easter night, and we're bringing you some nice entertainment to enjoy your Easter. It's going to be fun, exciting. WrestleMania I, if you guys don't remember, it happened March 31st, 1985. It was actually a kind of a shorter WrestleMania. Me and Dan were both pretty shocked that it was only 2 hours and 16 minutes. But we're happy to be in your homes on this great holiday. And just hope you enjoy watching along with us. We love doing it for you guys.
Well, I'm sure the Easter Bunny brought you a lot of chocolate.
Yes, he probably did,
nothing
Dan.
better for you than to wake up on a Sunday morning with a little fresh chocolate.
If you guys actually understood what he was talking about, maybe one day we'll have like a little 5-minute segment where it can explain everything about this chocolate phenomenon that has become with Dan.
It was a phenomenon.
Yes, because he talks about it on all of our shows, as you guys know out there.
So there may be a little confusion right now because I know there's regular WWE Network, I know there's Peacock, I know there's multiple different versions right now of what's going on with how you can watch things. So however you do it, go to WWE Network, And once you're in WWE Network, go to the search. Obviously, we're going to be looking for WrestleMania 1 or WrestleMania 1985, whichever one works easier for you. I had more luck typing in WrestleMania 1985. And yeah, like I said, I know the actual event was a lot longer than the version that's on the network right now. I do remember that the Coliseum video release had to have been heavily edited, because when I was a kid and I got my second VCR to be able to copy wrestling tapes, WrestleMania II was able to fit on a 2-hour VHS tape in SP mode. So that's why I remember that the VHS version was just, it had to have been 2 hours or under. I'm interested to see what the difference might be. I probably have not watched WrestleMania 1 in, like we were talking about beforehand, eons. So again, wrestling fans, we're kind of waiting for you. We want to give you a few minutes to catch up. We don't want you to have to hit the pause button and so on, so everything equals out. We're going to have a nice premiere. Everybody's going to be chatting. Everybody's going to be super chatting. Everybody's going to be celebrating the Easter holiday together. Unless you don't celebrate Easter, then it's just a regular Sunday to you. A couple of days after opening day.
Yes, sir.
I believe Easter is, what, April 4th?
Yeah.
Yes, the week before WrestleMania.
And opening day is April 1st.
We are just a few days past the 36th anniversary of this fine event, which Dave said was March 31st, 1985, from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, New York, New York. If you've never been to MSG, folks, I cannot stress enough that you should try and find a way to attend once live events happen again. So I'm guessing that everybody has found WrestleMania 1 by now. I hope you have. Otherwise, we're going to start anyway. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, play. When I do that, that means hit that little arrow or whatever it is you press on your device, on your platform, to begin the big event. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, play. And we're off to the races.
Yes, sir. Look at that.
Classic opening.
Oh, that is classic right there.
That
They're
is
showing the Empire
classic.
State Building. It's just so crazy when you go back and you watch it like this and you watch that old symbol. Because that's what we grew up seeing, that WWF symbol. And then when they changed it, I love it. Look at that. Simple, but it's just, I don't know, something about it gives you goosebumps thinking about it.
And the first thing I noticed, they dubbed over the old Coliseum video theme song. So obviously they didn't own the rights to
I
that.
can't even hear it, but oh, okay, so there you go. Look at that, the Iron Sheik in there. Wow.
Yeah, that's not the original.
No.
That's not the old Coliseum video opening song.
Look at that. It's so crazy because look at what WrestleMania is now. When we get to the actual arena, it's just unbelievable how different, like he said, 36 years ago to now.
If you had the VHS version or watched it live, they would have been the original Coliseum song with Vince introducing who each one of those guys were for each match. I
There
do
you go.
remember that.
So if you guys have that still, if any of you fans out there actually have the Coliseum video, you should go back and see what he's talking about because I bet it's very fun and interesting because you know how Vince always had that exciting voice introducing everybody. You know how he always got in there real deep with that voice. But look at this. It's like almost like a video game kind of setting, how it is, with the little starlights in the background, WrestleMania. Honestly, I think they should do an old school WrestleMania one time. Oh, Gorilla's there. Look at that. But I just think it's cool. I think they should definitely do that one time is go back like an old school WrestleMania. Do it like with all this kind of gear. The old school symbol and everything. Look at that. Jesse, Gorilla. Wow.
All right, we're going
Nice pink suit he's wearing, huh? Jesse?
Middle camera.
There's the
and
Fink.
Here I come, baby.
Dan will be joining us momentarily. As you can see, we're on the hard cam
That
now.
might be a little too loud. Let's see. I certainly
Look at
don't
the
want to
Fink.
offend our friends in WWE.
This is unbelievable. They bring down, it's like almost like a Mr. Kennedy, except bigger.
Look at that.
There's
The
a
old man
microphone.
pillow.
Oh,
Yeah, they went all out for this one.
wait a minute, he sang the national anthem? Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Oh, you know what? That's not bad. All right, wrestling fans, welcome
Yes.
to WrestleMania 1 with me. Sorry, Gene, I had to sit down for the
No
national
cut to
anthem.
sing the anthem too. He doesn't know it by heart. I love it.
Well, this is right around the time he sang Tutti Frutti on the original wrestling album that came out in '85.
Look at that guy. He's wearing a football jersey. He's pumped up. You know what's nice? You look at this. Not anybody's really wearing a T-shirt, like a wrestling T-shirt, too. It's all just suits or, regular gear.
It's rather dark.
Yeah.
Or is it just me? I mean, I know you like
No, it
dark,
is.
but
No, it is. Not Jesus. No, it definitely is.
it's like a sing-along with Mean Gene.
What was your favorite national anthem done by at a WrestleMania? Maybe it was Mean
I
Gene.
thought Gladys Knight did a very nice version of it at WrestleMania 4.
You know who I liked? What was it? What WrestleMania would that been? Which one was it?
That one.
No. What's her name?
Oh, her, yeah.
No. Come on. Let me think for a second, all right? The one with Ray Charles.
He was good. I
Yeah.
think that was WrestleMania 2.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 2 or 3 because I know they were in Motown for 3, so I wasn't sure if it was there.
No, that was Aretha Franklin.
There you go.
Another woman that I'm sure you had impure thoughts about the first time you
I was
watched
about
it.
2 years old.
Well, that's all right. Nowadays.
Look at
maybe.
that. There's your boy, Lord Alfred Hayes. You like him? Did you like him when you were a kid?
I didn't like when they tried to sometimes have him be a little heelish.
Okay.
Because I don't think they ever went all the way with it, and I thought it confused people.
What an ugly suit.
I liked his Mr. Freeze commercials that he used to do, though, to promote the ice pops on the syndicated shows as we get ready for Tito making the first of his
Look how young he looks.
9 consecutive WrestleManias.
Wow, he was like a Hogan, huh?
Yeah, the two of them, they both wrestled in the first 9 WrestleManias.
I knew Hogan. Wow, Tito too. I never looked at that like
to
that.
be fair, at WrestleMania 9, Tito was in the dark match, but I guess it still counts.
Still counts if you were there.
Yeah.
Now, if you got the video, would you have seen the dark match back then? Because like I said, I was...
No.
I didn't buy the videos. I rented them from Blockbuster. I don't remember. Blockbuster. Oh, my God. There you go.
Long before the blowaway diet, 1990, Playboy Buddy Rose under a mask is the executioner.
Look at the mask. It doesn't fit his face right. See how it's pulled over to one side? That's funny.
Playboy was in a little bit better shape here than he was during that 1990 run. Maybe he kept the mask on for the next 5 years and he just couldn't exhale and all the air just blew him up. I don't know.
Look at this match, Tito. Look at how it's...
The first match in WrestleMania history, folks.
Think about that. They can never take that away from the executioner or... That's crazy. That's great. Was there any dark matches before this, you think?
I don't think so.
No, this was...
And I think they just kind of threw the hood on him because they didn't want to have Buddy Rose lose. Or at least that's how Buddy told it.
Okay.
Doesn't even
See, look
work
at that.
the
You get
hard
this
camera.
behind-the-scenes stuff from Dan the Man.
Downtown Tacula, Mexico, Tito Santana. Tito was embroiled in a big feud with Greg the Hammer Valentine. The funny thing about this WrestleMania is it was almost like an enhanced house show. There's
I
Mel
know, look at
Phillips.
it. The apron's not done. Nothing's done. That's why I'm saying it's crazy what WrestleMania is now.
There were so many top guys that weren't on this show, it wasn't even funny. Tony's told the story about, I don't know how, I don't remember it to be true, that he was going to work King Kong Bundy and was replaced at the last minute by S.D. Jones. But Tony, again, there was a guy that was, he was up there and they didn't use him. You had guys like Don Morocco, Adrian
Jeez, the ropes
Adonis.
seem loose.
Very loose.
Oh, my
Because no
God.
one used them.
I'm going to say, they look wicked loose.
Nice drop kick from
Yeah, it was.
Tito.
Do you like Tito?
Tito was very solid.
Yeah.
But nothing very flashy about him.
Right.
See the 1 o'clock start time for WrestleMania 1, if you can see the MSG clock in the background. Now, there are almost no homes in the United States that I know of that had pay-per-view capability. There may have been one in Massachusetts, as I know of one person that did see it on pay-per-view, but if you wanted to go and see at least the first 5 WrestleManias, you had to actually go to an arena. It was called closed circuit. They'd have giant movie theater screens set up, and you'd watch it almost like you were going to a live wrestling event.
Really?
Here in Melrose, the first WrestleMania you could order on pay-per-view was 5. So for the first 4 WrestleManias, If you wanted to see it live, you had to go to the Boston Garden or, Worcester Centrum, or depending upon where you lived, a local arena that played this, and you'd attend it with however many fans went.
Oh, really? So you'd go to an arena, huh? Wow.
Yeah, that's how closed circuit worked.
That was crazy. See, I didn't know that. I would rent these. I was so young. I wasn't even, well, those first four, I was 4 years old.
Here in this city, the first pay-per-view that was available was Bash 80, Great American Bash 1988.
Okay.
So we got that version of cable in the summer of 1988.
Oh, wow. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, since you brought up the time, would you like WrestleMania to always start at that time? Do you like that time frame, start at 1 o'clock or
I
whatever?
think 1 was a little early.
What do you think? Like 4 o'clock would be a good start, huh? But I'm talking about the actual event go off.
4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Because you figure when it rarely starts, it started like 5 or 6, goes till 11, 12.
It's too long now.
At least with the 2 nights, it's not going to be longer than 3 hours each night.
I like 1 night. But I understand why
For
they
this,
need to do it this year, yeah. But in general, I'm glad they're going back to the traditional format in the future.
Absolutely, me too.
I don't think it needs to be a 7 or an 8 hour event.
No.
That first one, as I've noted before, 33 in Orlando, when it was unknowingly going to 12:30, I thought I was going to die.
Yep.
Between the heat, the length.
My buddy Brian that I went with, I had to keep on elbowing him. He was falling asleep.
I fell asleep during Triple H and Seth Rollins.
Oh, my
Not
God.
because the match was bad. It's just I was exhausted from a weekend of activities. I fell asleep at all 3 events that weekend. The Hall of Fame, NXT, and WrestleMania.
That's unbelievable.
It was a busy weekend.
Yep.
Much like it will be this coming weekend, or this coming week, once we reach Tampa in just a couple of days.
I can't wait to get in
with
that Florida sun. Wrestle House, Florida sun, Tampa, where I used to live. I'm very excited. Very excited about being there.
Now this right here would be very similar to what you'd see in a opening match on a house show. Not a vendetta, not a grudge, certainly not 2 superstars. WWF didn't realize maybe what WrestleMania was going to turn into, despite big ambitions early on. Like I said, Tito is in the middle of a big feud with Greg Valentine, and he's not wrestling Greg Valentine tonight. They had a long, long feud, Santana and Valentine, and did pretty good business.
Did it? Yeah?
Yeah. It was the main event on a lot of tours.
Love the hammer.
Well, so did Annie the Ass Eater, but...
Uh-oh. Look at the gear. It's not even gear. It's a T-shirt and it's...
Look at all the people around ringside, from the athletic commission to the media. This turned into such a mega event. The story goes that, flying forearm, that should be it from Tito. A little close to the ropes. No. The battle of the figure 4s between Santana and Valentine. That should be it. I can't see the executioner getting to the ropes at this point. Well, he's called for the bell. That's it.
He was screaming, trying to get someone to ring it. No one would.
Tito doesn't even want to break it. Tito's risking disqualification here.
Absolutely.
All right, there we go.
Arriba. I would have loved to seen what it was like, the media after this whole event went down. Just to see what everybody said about it and things like
The
that.
involvement of Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper was so big. Cyndi Lauper was one of the top singers in the country. Mr. T was on one of the hottest shows on television. And just to have both of them at the same event, just as I believe I started to say, as the story goes from my good friend Ed Cohen that ran the live events department, Vince McMahon, about a week or so before the event, went to a New York ad agency with $100,000 and said, make this show happen. And boy, did it happen. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm about 95% sure that Hogan and Mr. T were on Saturday Night Live the night before this event. Certainly not the elaborate sets we see nowadays.
I know, slowed out her face, too. His eyes are going all over the place.
Look at, buddy, look at the execution of Selling in the background.
But watch out for his eyes. They're going everywhere. Love me, Gene.
SD Special Delivery Jones, one of the legendary enhancement talents of his time, had a great career in WWF, putting everybody and their brother and their mother over.
And just look at the size of him. Everybody's that big. It's crazy.
He looked like a man.
Yeah. Now you're doing... Oh, it's totally different.
Now, SD, even better known as an enhancement talent, at one point was actually... Geez, they didn't wait long to bring his
I know, right?
But Andy has his watch on. He doesn't want to forget the time, I guess. SD and Tony were slated to win the tag team titles at a big Philadelphia Spectrum show, and Tony wound up leaving the company because he wanted to get walked on in Los Angeles and vanished from the WWF for about 8 months.
Wow.
So he really screwed SD. That would have been a feather under his cap to say he was a tag team champion, because championship belts actually meant something at that point in time.
You don't even see the entrances of these guys. It's crazy.
No.
You like King Kong Bundy?
I loved King Kong Bundy.
Me too. I met him when I was 11 years old at where I grew up in Salem, New Hampshire, at the high school. Guy was a big boy.
And this was before Bundy went on to be managed by, obviously, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah. Big boy. But he looks like a wrestler. Like, you know what I mean? He's just a big, huge monster.
He was one of my absolute favorites when I was a kid, when I started watching. I was a big fan of the heels.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. You liked Hogan, though, right?
I liked Hull, but I mean, I liked Piper, I liked Morocco, I liked the Sheik, I liked Stud, I liked Bundy.
Wow.
Maybe it's because their promos were more interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to set your stopwatch, folks. I believe they say this match is 8 seconds, which WWE obviously had to ruin years later at WrestleMania 24. I'm going to see if anybody remembers in the chat which match it was that they claim is now the shortest.
Oh, I know.
I'm going to guess it's not going to be as well remembered as time goes on as this. I think we're past the 8-second mark.
Absolutely. Jesus, the ref counted slow.
The referee, the count almost took 8 seconds.
Yeah. And the guy... Oof. So we don't... Are you going to give the answer?
Well, I want to see if anyone in the premiere gets it.
Oh,
Hopefully
okay.
I'll be watching along.
King Kong Bundy.
A little sloppy. I don't think Tony would have wanted to have done the job this quick. Which is maybe
Poor
why
guy,
they
man. I mean, he
changed
got
it.
a payday, but still, it sucks, man. 8 seconds or whatever. Done. They need to tighten the ropes.
Well,
Jesus.
again, SD, I mean, he was an enhancement guy.
But he didn't
wasn't
look
selling
like
it.
one.
He would never be booked on a future WrestleMania.
He doesn't even look like one, though. He looks like he could go.
Who, SD?
Yeah, you know what I
He
mean?
wasn't bad.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't get it. It's crazy.
I think he got put into that, the legacy version of the Hall of Fame, too, which is insulting to the Hall of Fame. But is he selling after the match?
The legacy, you're talking about the one
9
they don't...
seconds. That was a lot longer than 9 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
But grooming Bundy right off the bat. If you remember WrestleMania 2, he was in the main event for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship,
I
which
do.
we may watch along in the future.
The big blue cage.
The Big Blue Waffle.
I love that.
All right, SD, scrape him up with a shovel and get him out of the ring.
Get him
What
out.
do we got now? We're about 10 minutes into the show and already on the third match.
Whoa. There he is.
Man that's been in this very studio. Matt Bourne, Doink the Clown. The original Doink the Clown. The one that competed at WrestleMania 9. The one that competed at WrestleMania 10 was Ray Apollo. For you history buffs out there. Matt Bourne, a very interesting character, a very unique character. This is, to me, I don't like this.
Look at the Dragon Man. Jacked.
I think the Dragon stopped at Mobile on his way to MSG that afternoon, but that's all right. He's in great physical condition.
Jesus. I never realized how big he was then, because when he got to WCW, he was not even half the size of that. Wow. He's bigger than Hogan.
I don't know about that.
For the height and size, oh my God, he looks way bigger. You know, to me with Hogan, too, is Hogan was a big dude, but he wasn't ripped, so he just looked big, and that's what everybody...
Big and thick, yeah.
You know what I mean? No one, everybody made like he was large in life. He was just a big guy. Like, I think, honestly, Steamboat looks better. Steamboat was ripped and stuff. I thought it was good. And what
Ricky was definitely a lot more cut up.
Yeah. Just look how big he is, though. Look at his back. I can't believe that, how big he is. Look at the thing.
Now, Bourne was another guy at this point that really wasn't receiving certainly a giant push.
Till he put on the clown suit?
Ricky was a relatively... Oh, Bourne, he was gone not too long after WrestleMania I.
Okay.
He didn't come back until 92 as Doink.
Dude, I can't believe that.
Steamboat
Look at this.
Was a relative newcomer at this point.
Dude, he had the serrations in him. Oh, my God. I never realized how jacked he was.
And look at how old the referees are in this show.
Right, that's about 74.
Yeah. Before even the referees had to be young and petite.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm blown away. I never realized how jacked Steamboat was. That is unbelievable to me.
Bourne's a big guy, too. Just not, in great, solid, thick shape.
I'm just blown. Look at that. He's huge. He's a monster. No. That's awesome. Good for him, man.
For fans that may want an inside perspective of Matt Bourne about WrestleMania I, you can check out the Matt Bourne Doink the Clown Studio Shoot Interview DVD, available on the Patreon, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling.
What year did you do those?
He was here in 2010.
Oh, so I had to. Actually, you know what? When you did a couple...
He did a lot of shows with us.
I was going to say, yeah, no, you know what we did? Because I had a... Yes, I do remember meeting him. I do remember meeting him because I was going to say, I think I did a show when he was at the studio the Melrose.
Memorial Hall.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do remember that, yeah.
We built a big feud up with him and Warbeard Hansen, now known as the Recuperating Ivar in WWE.
That's a team that needs to come back too, side note.
Yeah, well, we talked about the lack of tag teams.
Yep. I love it. A simple headlock they don't do anymore.
And he's working the headlock.
Yeah.
He's not just putting it on. I'm looking. He's trying to get out of it. He's trying to tug. He's
they
trying
don't
to pull out of it. They're doing reversals, working, wrestling.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a shame that things with Matt Bourne ended the way they did here in Boston Wrestling, but when you're a drug addict, I guess those problems come up.
I love it.
Paul Bearer, once we saw his new look, he kind of vanished off the face of the planet for a while. WWE put him through a very expensive rehab program, and he came up with an idea. Instead of Doink, it was very similar to Heath Ledger's look in A Dark Knight. Is that the name of the Batman
The Dark
movie
Knight,
he was in? Yeah, and it was scary looking. And that opened the door to our communications, and we came up with the idea almost to make him a player coach, so to speak. And first weekend went all right, but second
there
one
went downhill.
not so much. And then I couldn't wait to be done with them. But we already had laid out the program. It was very important for us to make Hansen look good. So I wanted to go through with the original idea, and we did. I just wanted to be done with him in the worst of ways. The worst of ways.
So he had, for you to say that, he must have...
Oh!
Yeah. Because you don't usually feel that way unless they do something.
You know what I mean? When you try to hold someone up for money or lie, I don't have time to go into the whole story because this isn't a very long match, but right before the autograph signing was supposed to begin at Memorial Hall, he ran up to me like a madman with his girlfriend, screaming like a lunatic that he was short at $100. And I said, well, how much is in there? And he told me. I said, that's what we agreed to. No. It was $100 more. I said, Matt, I need you to go out there now. If I give you the email, will you give me the money back? So I gave him the whole sum. I had to go into the office of the woman that runs Memorial Hall, who you know I love to death.
I know, right?
And to her credit, she was very nice. She understood the situation. She let me go through my emails. I found the agreement that I had with Matt, and guess where Matt was when it came time to give him the email and get my $100 back?
Nowhere to be found.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And then and then we kind of had a discussion the next day on the phone, and, and it was almost like he was looking for sympathy. He goes, oh, well, do you want to end the relationship now? I said, no. I said, no. I said, maybe you just remembered it wrong. I knew he was full of shit. But my end game was to get through the feud and have him lose to Hansen, 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And to his credit, he did. And he wasn't that bad to deal with afterwards. But after we stopped using him, he started writing shit on Facebook posts and so on. And so, I really wanted to like him.
Right.
He's a likable guy. He's very, very, very smart to the business. Great insight. I remember I don't think a lot of the fans will remember Commissioner Von Johnson, but one sight you would have never forgotten in your life would have been after the first night we used him, a group of us went to Hooters instead of Kowloon, and Commissioner Von Johnson was giving Doink Reiki in the middle of Hooters.
Oh, man.
And a crossbody.
There it is.
A big win for the Dragon, who 2 years later would have one of the all-time classics in WrestleMania history.
Hell yeah.
But Matt Bourne, he was... I wouldn't even call Matt mid-card at this point. Yeah, he was an upper-lower card guy, I would say, at this point in time. So, I mean, to have him on WrestleMania, it just shows how it was not the stacked show from top to bottom. It would become even starting the next year or two.
What do you think, Till, about WrestleMania 3?
Yeah, I mean, George Wells wrestled at WrestleMania 2, and WrestleMania 3 was probably the first where it became the WrestleMania we know and love now.
Right.
It was just a learning curve for him, Not even the Dragon.
No, I was just going to say they didn't even use it. I can't believe how big he is, Dan. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he was enhanced at that point.
Yeah. Because he didn't look like anything like that, like in WCW when I remember seeing him there and stuff, too.
Oh, he was really thinned out by
look at this. Lord's going to sell the...
hustle in the program.
Yeah. What's it got, 3 pages in it? Look at it.
It's not the $30 job they sell nowadays.
No. Oh, look at it. He's right behind him, too. That would never happen nowadays. Look at Bourne walking, too.
You think they would have made a little set or something?
Jesus, he walked right in front of him with the beefcake. Oh, he's like, whoops, sorry.
Well, and entering the ring now, another man that's been here in this studio just last summer, Brutus Beefcake, before he was the barber.
I was going to say, he wasn't cutting and strutting yet.
No, well, a man they had great hopes for that didn't work out as planned. David Bruno Sammartino, as he was called at one point, shortened to David Sammartino.
Look at Bruno wearing his beautiful tux with the WWF symbol on it.
That's a suit, not a tux.
Suit, sorry, suit, my bad.
It's a suit.
Custom made for WWF, huh?
Again, I can't believe they would do these guys with vendettas and issues. What? I mean, that's something they don't even do nowadays.
What I don't get is he's wearing a totally different costume, too.
I'm going to guess they didn't tape these the day of them.
No, because watch, when you get out there, he wasn't wearing that because he had already been shown. Remember, he cut off...
Yeah, didn't he have red on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Johnny V?
Things that would be critical nowadays wasn't back then.
Well, if this is the worst thing we can find about the event compared to watching Raw or SmackDown nowadays...
Right on. It's just crazy to me how...
The modern-day WrestleManias.
Yeah. It's just that would never fly now.
Yeah, look
See,
at that.
Right.
Yeah. Unless he changed quick. But I don't know how many people walk around in their normal clothes saying Luscious on the back.
Right, that's
you
what I
might
said.
with some of your
Not me.
chocolate flavored
Gee, he looks like
friends,
friggin'
but-
Doc Hendricks.
Well, he was certainly one of the legendary tag team wrestlers of the 70s into the early 80s, I believe. The Valiant Brothers. And he had
Parts unknown.
Beefcake.
He was parts unknown too, huh? Before he
Well,
was...
they hadn't come up with San Francisco yet for him.
I was going to say, Jesus.
He wasn't a barber yet. He wasn't from San Francisco yet. He was a relative newcomer to WWF.
There they are, running. Oh, even Bruno changed too, huh? Look at how he's just wearing a regular...
He's got some sweater on.
That's his son?
Yeah. And you wouldn't believe how gassed up he got after this opportunity in WWF went down the toilet, so to speak. I mean, he got
So he got jacked? So he got jacked.
Oh.
Because I'm going to say, he doesn't look like, he just looks like a normal guy right here, just a normal big guy.
He almost looks like an indie version of Adrian Adonis before he dyed his hair at this point.
Or Kevin Sullivan to me.
Kevin Sullivan?
Yeah, like fat, like thick, like, yeah.
Yeah. I can
You know what
see
I mean?
what
How
you're
Kevin
saying,
Sullivan
yeah.
was kind of thick, but never like cut up. Not the hair, obviously. But you know what I mean, like the body.
Well, Bruno didn't have the piece on that he wore during his big second run, a little afro-style piece. John Cena Sr. would look good with kind of a curly one like Bruno had on during
Yeah.
that Larry Zbyszko feud.
There you go.
Maybe some of our Photoshop friends at home could make
Do one
something
with
like
John
that
Cena
to
Sr., yeah.
put a smile on my face. From what
That's-
I remember, they would wind up doing some tag team matches with this foursome. The managers back then were usually retired wrestlers, and they'd be active.
Hey, you know what's crazy,
Oh,
too,
they
if you
forgot
think
the
about
referee
now?
to go out. That would help.
Right? A lot of the wrestlers had managers. Now, no one does. It's crazy how the times have just changed. It is. There's Paul Heyman.
Virtually every heel that meant anything had a manager in this era.
It's sad because managers are
Look
fun.
at the first four matches. The two that didn't were Executioner, who was an
Right.
undercard guy, and Matt Bourne, who was pretty much an
Right.
undercard guy.
It's crazy, too, because, I think managers add a lot to the
Sure.
heels. Especially the ones that can't talk.
And Beefcake wasn't a great talker as a heel.
Right.
I don't think he had the charisma that he developed once he became a babyface. But
Did you like Beefcake, though, when he was Beefcake?
um,
Like Brutus, I should say. Baba.
up until he got in that parasailing accident, to some degree, yes, I did. When he came back in '93, there wasn't much left.
No, you didn't listen. You hated him in WCW, I'm guessing,
Oh.
right? Yeah.
That should have been uncensored.
What was he, the Zodiac and all that stuff, too?
He had so many different characters. Brother Bruti.
I do remember
the man
that.
with no name.
I
the
love that.
Butcher, the
I love
Boogeyman,
Hogan's
the
interview.
Zodiac.
Hogan's promo, Brother Bruti. Oh, man, it's too much. I love that.
I don't even remember what his name was in the NWO.
Yeah, what was his name? Oh, my God, that's going to bother me now that you just brought that up.
The Disciple.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why he never got over. They kept changing the gimmick on him.
'Cause, I mean, he had a good body. He was good size. He just, I don't know.
Well, you know, the fans had a very interesting take on him here in the studio. Some fans enjoyed the interviews. Some felt, yeah, he didn't exactly want to be here. So,
How did you feel?
he hasn't been back yet, but I still think he has a lot of stories he could share that would be interesting. Yeah, a good little heel maneuver right there.
Right.
A little strutting before he started cutting. You know, from this vantage point, David Sammartino almost looks a little bit like a favorite of ours on Marty Jannetty's Party with Marty show, Annie the Ass Eater. To give you an idea.
I don't even know what that person looks like or who it is, but
like. Annie was very close with Greg Valentine.
so she looks like a male?
As a matter of fact, no, she looked feminine enough, but
All right.
she kind of looked like Adrian Adonis before he dyed his hair blonde. Beefcake actually mentioned Annie the Ass Eater in his book.
Really?
I was shocked, and I was in heaven.
Did he call her that by name?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
So it's not just a running gag that you guys all have, because I don't even know what it
No.
is. Really? Wow. Well, it's good to know, folks. I like that.
You know.
So you're telling me David Sammartino got in like wicked phenomenal shape right after this? Because right there he doesn't
By
look
the time he was gone, but after he left WWF.
really, and he
Yeah.
got like real
He wasn't
jacked.
even around for WrestleMania II.
Wow. Why, they just didn't see anything in him?
Well, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
Did he ever go anywhere else? Because that's something that I just never pay attention
No,
to.
not really. I mean, the territories were really drying up at that
You
point.
figure he would because of his name.
Those are tough shoes to fill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just shocked.
Can you see anything right
No,
there?
not right now, but because you said he got real jacked up. I figured they would try to give him another look because back
To be
then.
fair, you're right. Yeah. But I know him and Bruno had I don't know at what point, but they had a major falling out when Bruno
Is he still
found
alive,
out-
David Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Bruno found out he was on the gas, they had a major falling out because Bruno was as clean cut of a human being as they come.
He was
Old
always
school
natural?
Paisan. Bruno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Because I've seen pictures of him. He just worked hard then.
His life story is supposedly going to become a movie so many different times over the years.
That'll be a good watch.
With the war going on, him and his family hid in the mountains of Italy for about a year or something like that.
Jesus.
And he has a statue of him, and I believe the city's name is Pisa Ferrato, Italy.
Good for
There's
you
a
for pronouncing
statue of
that.
Bruno. Well, I'm an Italian myself, as you know.
I am too, but I don't think I could get that out.
Pisa Ferrato, Italy. And he used to go, I don't know if it was for his birthday, but in early October every year, he and his wife, I believe her name was Carol, would go to Pisa Ferrato for maybe an extended vacation or to see family members, but they'd go to see that statue.
That's awesome.
For useless history about Bruno Sammartino's vacation tendencies.
Right there, he looked like a little bit like a strong man. More
He
like.
wasn't that big.
No,
I mean,
he
you
just-
saw standing next to Bruno, he was kind of a
Yeah.
little guy. And I mean, I'm sure he was very naturally strong too. I mean, to be that thick, you still have to put time in. He didn't fit what WWF was in 1985.
Right on.
And the work wasn't there to make up for it.
And the only reason why he was on the show is because of Bruno, you think?
Oh, yeah, they wanted Bruno back in the worst of ways.
So
And
that's
that's
why.
how they got Bruno. Bruno had retired, I think, in 81,
Okay.
the night the Meadowlands opened.
That's
It was a house
crazy.
show. He had his retirement match. I think it
Imagine
was
getting to
against
see
George
him live and
Steele.
stuff. All the things you
Well,
miss.
that's a funny thing. To try and give this one a job, they brought Bruno in. At first, it was supposed to be just 17 dates a year because they'd tape 3 weeks of TV at a time. And
Okay.
he was a commentator. But then, they obviously, especially in the Northeast, there were cities where he was a major box office draw. I mean,
Wow.
the numbers he drew in 86 and 87 just at the Boston Garden alone. I mean, I saw him.
See, I'd never get.
He wrestled in Boston as often as Hogan did in 87.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old was he when he was now? Like right now?
Oh,
I'm just curious because if you said he retired in 81, but then I was just curious how old he was now. Because he looks old. He doesn't look
had
like
to
he's
at
young.
least be his early 50s.
Because he looks
I'm trying
old,
to
you know what I
think,
mean?
85 What year did he die? I'd say early 50s, if I was going to guess. Now, I don't have Wikipedia.
Right.
For those of you going to say, oh, no, he was 49 or he was 56 or something
Yeah.
like that. This is just an educated guess off the top of
I
my
think
head.
people age differently too back then because he looks older than that. He looks like he's in his 60s. He doesn't, like his face and his hair, he just makes him look older.
When he had his falling out with WWF, he was gone in October of 87, and he worked in Boston 4 times in 87.
And you got to see him?
He worked Randy Savage in an Intercontinental title
Oh,
match
wow.
in January. They did a return match in February that was a lumberjack match. In July, he replaced Jake the Snake Roberts, who failed a coke test, and he worked Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental title. And then his final Boston Garden appearance was August the 15th, 1987, the birthday of our old buddy, the Jackal. We miss you, buddy. It was a special 8:30 p.m. start time on a hot
Jesus.
August night in Boston. It was the Honky Tonk Man and the tag team champions, the Hart Foundation, against Bruno, Tito, Santana, and Jake Roberts. And that was the last time we got Bruno in Boston.
Never got to see him. And then on TV.
There is a great match. I'm sure it's on YouTube. The heat was tremendous. It was before I became a fan. It was a few days after the Super Bowl where the Bears beat the Patriots. And it was Bruno against Piper in a steel cage match.
Sounds like a phenomenal
And
match.
Piper came out with posters of Jim McMahon and
Oh,
maybe the
really?
Fridge, and he started taping them on the cage, and the fans
That's
were going
awesome.
nuts.
So this was in Boston, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
And Bruno, we worked Bruno, and Bruno was throwing him face first into the cage, and his Piper is running into the cage. He's going, gigging his forehead. Look it up
Wow.
on YouTube. I don't know if it's on
I'll have
WWE
to.
Network. It was February of '86, though.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
absolutely,
that.
because the Super Bowl was in January. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. No, I'm going to look for that.
I think they gave this one a little too much.
I was just going to say.
Because they've lost my interest big time.
Big time. I'm loving the stories. I haven't even been paying attention. You know why? Because like you said, it's Bruno's son, so they probably want to give him. But doesn't he look old there?
Yeah, well, he's not a young guy.
That's what I'm saying. He looks old. That's why I had to ask, because I'm just saying, look at him. He looks
I think
old.
he was in his early 80s when he passed away, and this probably would have been about...
See, I don't even know when he was born. What, in 40s? Oh, you know what? I got my phone right here. Sorry,
Look it
guys.
up, look
I
it
don't
up.
think anybody will get mad at me.
Just see what year he was
That's
when he
what I'm
died,
saying.
and we can figure it out
Yep.
from there.
Everybody's probably writing right now.
Larson's probably giving us the scoops.
Yep.
And I just hope...
So
all of our
he
great
died
friends-
in 2018, and he was born in 1935, so he was 50.
50, okay. Well,
50,
that
and he
was
looks
clear,
that
right?
old.
50, yeah.
You said 51, so you're almost spot on. I can't believe that.
And just think, think of how many consecutive years
So
he
wait a
was the
minute.
world champion.
So he was-
They talk about this one was been champion for 106 days. He was champion for consecutive years, Bruno. Consecutive years.
Speaking on what you said, so he was 50, and he wrestled until 87.
Yeah.
You said, right?
But not full time.
But still having those matches. Now, if a guy comes back that's 50, people are like, get him off. You know, it's just crazy to me how times change.
Well, and I'll say this, he was a big draw.
How was
a
he in the
huge
ring at
draw.
at that age? Was he all right?
You know, not much different than the matches I've seen of him in his prime. He was pretty much just a punch, kick, brawler.
Okay. But he looked all right doing it, though, at that age?
Yeah. And you know what? He was so over he could get almost
Get
like
away with it,
someone
yeah.
like Hogan. He could get away with a lot.
Okay. It just blows
And
my
they
way.
put him in there with guys that had a lot of heat. I mean, I just mentioned that match with Piper. at the
Right, I
Garden
was just
in
saying,
the
Piper,
cage.
you said.
Honky Tonk is one of the most underrated heels in WWF history as far as the heat that he would get with his opponents. Who else did Bruno work? Macho Man had so much heat after almost breaking Ricky Steamboat's neck with the ring bell leading up to WrestleMania 3. So when he worked Savage, he was white hot. I know he at least did some tags with Paul Orndorff. Same thing. Orndorff was Hogan's greatest house show opponent.
So this might be a stupid question. So Bruno never got to wrestle on a WrestleMania?
He did. He was in the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal when they
Okay,
did
'cause
the
I was just
NFL
wondering.
against the WWF.
Like I said, I was so young, I don't remember all of it.
And the other good thing was Pedro Morales, the other long-time WWF champion of the 70s, was also in that Battle
And that
Royal.
just blows my mind because Bruno was such, like you said, a champion for so long. You figure that he would have got a standalone match at a WrestleMania.
It was for the best.
Well, that's what you're saying because he was just a brawler or whatever, so that's it. Look at him getting in there. Look at him. Well, I guess he can at least throw a punch.
Oh, it's a true fact. In Boston, the crime rate would go up in the North End, the Italian section of Boston, when Bruno worked the Boston Garden.
Nowadays, this would
all the
be...
Italians would go in. That's why they used to have a net above the ring at the Garden house shows. People would throw rocks. You know, they'd bring weapons in. I've told
Jesus.
the Blackjack Mulligan story before.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas's grandfather.
Yep.
I think when he was challenging Pedro Morales for the World Championship in Boston, he might have been managed by Bobby Heenan. No, I don't think that was in WWF, but he was managed by Bobby Heenan in other territories. But a fan brought in a knife that was dipped in pig fat, and when Mulligan walked to the ring, just sliced his 70-something stitches, I believe. And he almost died.
Nowadays, you would have the general manager, whoever come, and be like, let's make this a tag team match, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look
No.
at Bruno.
Bruno and his sweater had their WrestleMania moment.
Oh, my God. Look at his hair. He's ready. Looks like Howard Finkel, except with more hair. Oh, no mats around the ring, just some wood.
And the luscious one, Johnny V. That Bozark has no idea what to do. She doesn't want anything to do with Johnny or David. Look at just the lack of space around the ring. You
Right?
know what I mean?
Trying to fit every single person in there.
No, you didn't have everybody jumping out of the ring every 4 seconds, leaping
Right
and
on.
flying, Montez Ford.
And like, who would have thought these kind of right here would get a crowd going? Now it's got to be, exactly what you just said, dives and flips and whatever.
But Bruno's one of the most respectable people in the history of the business that I know. Just a true gentleman.
Well, that guy, he's dressed like the Star Trek.
I wish we could have done something with Bruno over the years.
Oh, that would have been nice,
I
huh?
attempted it a couple of times, but I almost choked at the price tag.
No good.
Well, you're right. It was no good.
I
We
was
would
going to
have
say,
done it.
no good.
He was happy to be home. He was very smart and saved his
And
money.
if you were going to get him to come out, it had to be, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It does.
He was a 6-figure guy when he was the champion. And think of
Really?
Oh yeah,
At that time,
Yeah.
too. That's a lot of money back then, right?
sure.
Yeah.
In the 60s and the 70s,
Yeah. Wow.
and then he went back.
Well, because you said he drew everywhere he went, right?
Like I said, from 80, I think 85 through 87.
What made him come back when
Try
he
and
took
get him a
that?
job.
Oh, that's all he did it for was for his son, and then his son went against him by doing all the stuff. Wow.
I wasn't around at that point, or even a fan at that point. I don't know if steroids had anything. I think he got on the steroids after he left.
Oh, okay. What do we got now?
But they didn't want David, but they wanted Bruno. So
Right.
Bruno stuck around, and I
his
think
son.
David might have resented Bruno for that he stayed.
Oh,
Well, busy night
Okay.
for Jimmy Hart.
oh, there he is, Greg Valentine.
Annie the Ass Eater's longtime close personal friend, Greg the Hammer Valentine. It would take Greg 15 minutes to get warmed up, but I don't know about Annie.
I love the program. Look at him; he won't let it go.
He's not even really presenting it well. He's just,
He's
kinda
just holding it like
Yeah.
a pillow.
You can tell the tape is degenerated on this one. Look at the deterioration on the bottom of the screen, at least on the version that we're watching.
Do you like the Hammer?
He was slow.
Thing about it is, he's probably only like 30-something years old right there, and he looks like he's about 60. There he is.
Valentine, let's see, back then, I'd guess early 30s.
And he
for the
looks like he's
Hammer.
probably 50s, doesn't he?
They had a lot of guys like that back then.
It's
Howley
unbelievable.
Race looked like he was in his 60s and the 80s. Now, see, as I noted in the opening match, the big feud Valentine was having was for the Intercontinental title with Tito Santana. And yet they didn't put them on WrestleMania against each other.
And it's crazy because you didn't even see the title in that promo. Where is the title?
Probably under his role.
I'm gonna say because you didn't see it in the interview, so I'm just wondering. You figure, you know how most when they do the interviews, they have it around their on their chest or whatever. Like you didn't even see it. I love that old title.
It's not that one.
Oh, it's not?
If I remember correctly, no.
Because I know 3 it was. Come on, show it. Just take the damn robe off. I want to see it. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, I don't love that one.
They were big with green titles. When Hogan won the world title for the first time, it was a green belt.
Yeah, I do remember that just because it's Sheik. You're talking about when he beat the Sheik, right? Yeah. Finally, you've got
This
your
was
first
re-edited.
entrance. Yeah.
He didn't have this theme song in '85.
Thump. You like the Junkyard Dog?
It's too bad he didn't have the magic he had in Mid-South at this point. But, you know, again, drugs will do that to you.
Did you like the dog, though?
I did. As a kid, I enjoyed him enough.
Excuse me.
I didn't think he was particularly good, but he had a lot of charisma going
Fink
for
couldn't
him.
get out of the ring fast enough. You see him? He was trying to get out.
He was over as over could be, though. He made a lot of money in a short period of time, but he wasted it.
It's crazy. They say he weighed 280. Valentine only was 248. Look about the same size.
Grab them cakes, baby. There's Mel Phillips again taking the jackets. Renowned pedophile.
Oh. That's
And it
him.
was sad. Just, as we're taping this, the day before, we learned of the passing of Barry O, who was part of that big sex scandal that broke in 91 and 92. Not that he ever accused Mel Phillips. His allegations were more towards Terry Garvin and Pat Patterson, but kind of odd to see Mel.
Jesus.
Yeah, JYD, he was packing on the pounds at this point.
Right?
It's too bad it wound up costing himself. He was so bad by the time he left WWF in '88. If he ever could have cleaned himself up, sobered himself up. But, he had a system that worked huge in Mid-South for Bill Watts before he left them high and dry as their top superstar down in Louisiana and Mississippi. And
I can't believe Valentine's in his early 30s. It looks like he's about 50-something. Oh, it blows my mind.
And to be fair, this match, if it was Valentine and Tito, would have been so much better than this. Tito and Valentine would lay it in on each other. Not to say that JYD...
We haven't even talked about it. You like the commentary team with Gorilla and Jesse? Was
Excellent,
that? Yes.
excellent. And it was very rare that you got them together. Usually just WrestleMania.
Really?
Outside of
Okay.
I'm incorrect. The house shows sometimes, yes, but on TV, never.
So when you say house shows, let me ask you, because obviously you're older than me. Did they ever put those on TV?
Yeah.
Like the one, like say you like at the Garden, they put
Boston, it was from '85 through '89. They would air on Nesson after
Really?
that. Yep.
So Nesson's been around that long, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So did you watch it whenever it was on like that? Yeah.
And outside of usually the top 2 or 3 matches, they'd also air on Primetime Wrestling from Toronto, Boston, MSG, LA, Houston. They'd wind up taping a lot. Sometimes they'd do, I think, the Meadowlands. Hamilton, Ontario was one of their TV stops. So you'd get to see house show matches. That's why Primetime was my favorite show out of all of them. Even though they'd never shoot major angles, because it was Gorilla and Bobby in a TV studio almost like this, doing wraparounds leading into the matches.
Really? Okay.
You'd get a couple of matches from Superstars, a couple of matches from Challenge, sometimes matches taped to TV tapings for prime time, but you'd also get a lot of house show matches, which I always thought was cool, because that's how I'd learn about all these other arenas, because Philadelphia, they would tape every month at the Spectrum. These legendary places, and they'd show you everything but, the top 2 or 3 matches that you'd really want to see.
Okay. Wow, that's good to know.
And I would go nuts being able to see the matches that I just saw live at the Boston Garden a couple of weeks before on USA Network.
That's crazy. That's cool. Good information, huh? See, I didn't know. Like I said, I was way too young.
Yeah, Primetime was a great show until they changed the format of it to Vince McMahon and his Zubaz in front of a studio audience. Gorilla and Bobby together were magic. But going back to the commentary teams, how this began, the Superstars A team was Vince and Jesse. The B team on Challenge was Gorilla and Bobby. And Gorilla and Bobby also did Primetime. The house shows would almost rotate depending upon who was where.
See, that's good to know. I had no idea. But it was on Nesson.
And Gorilla and Jesse, they would usually team up for at least the first, was it the first 6 WrestleManias, I think? Until Jesse left? I believe so. Yeah, I think it was Gorilla and Jesse for the first 6, and then Jesse was gone in the summer of '90 over a video game dispute.
Who's your favorite of all-time commentary team? Since we're talking about it.
Probably Gorilla and Bobby. Gorilla and Jesse were really good too, but again, you're only talking about maybe 6 events. I'm trying to think. I think the first Survivor Series was Gorilla and Jesse. I remember Jesse was dressed up as a pilgrim, but I don't remember if Vince was on that one or not.
I remember just watching it.
Even the NBC Saturday Night's main events, that was Vince and Jesse.
Look at him.
But I liked that they'd mix it up with Gorilla and Jesse. I thought they might not have had the chemistry and even the personal friendship that Bobby and Gorilla did, but they're very good together.
That's cool. Didn't know.
Gorilla just had credibility. He was a former wrestler. He was well-spoken. You know, certainly not Michael Cole. When he said something, you believed it.
Yep.
Well,
I totally agree. Oh.
This is Ric Flair like.
Oh. Love it. Love that.
Valentine would go on to defend the tag team championship at WrestleMania II. For the fans that may not have the lineups memorized like I do. And Valentine competed in the first 7 WrestleManias.
First 7, wow.
The first 7. Yeah, he was gone by WrestleMania 8. You know what? I'm slightly incorrect on that. He didn't wrestle at WrestleMania 6. They did a concert with rhythm and blues that the Bushwhackers interrupted. When Valentine dyed his hair black and they were escorted to the ring by Diamond Dallas Page's pink Cadillac at the Toronto Sky Dome. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. No one does that
cheating.
anymore. I love that. No one does that anymore.
JYD can't believe it.
I know, he looks confused. He doesn't understand. Mouth of South is hugging him like they're going to make out. What the hell's going on?
This is his arch rival, Tito.
He got dressed quick, huh?
Yeah. I don't even think we're an hour into
I know.
this yet. The referee just took Tito's word for it. And you know a count out was coming for the referee to count that quick. Sometimes nowadays in WWE, they're out of the ring for 4 or 5 minutes and they don't hit the 10
I know.
count.
They're like 1, 2 minutes later, 2. Jesus. It don't matter, though. You don't get the title. He's just happy
Well,
to
as
get...
Gorilla would say, it would hurt him in the purse.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
winner's share of the pay. I used to love how they'd have the commentators right up against the ring. They do the same thing in Boston.
Was there ever any mess-ups and go right through it or anything? Being that close?
No, because
They just knew better, right? They just
once
knew
in a
where it was.
while someone might get their head slammed off the table. But I mean, and the crowd would go nuts because it would very seldom happen.
So when it did happen, it was like a big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I get you.
They
Because
didn't spend
stuff
half
is
the
so
match
overdue.
outside of the ring.
Right, stuff was overdue now. That's why it's soon.
It was Lord Alfred with the program.
Still, he loves it.
I don't think they needed to reverse the decision as I watched this again. I don't think it really made a difference that JYD went over by countout.
No, it didn't. I think the crowd, if he finished in the ring anyways. Ooh, that was a hot bump,
for
huh?
Jimmy.
I was going to say a hot one.
I bet his back was hurting the next morning.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, tailbone and everything.
Yeah, on that MSG clock, it's still not even 2 o'clock yet.
It's crazy.
Well, we hope you're enjoying your Easter Sunday, folks, with us here on Wrestling Insiders. Another great watch-along. Don't forget, if you're watching during the premiere, The Easter Bunny didn't visit us here at the studio, but the Super Chat is open for business.
Absolutely.
Especially with Wrestle House this week, all the great superstars and legends that we're going to be doing interviews with, live episodes, cyber autograph signings. We need all the help we can get, baby. Here's the program. Yep.
He hasn't talked about the program once. I don't get it. Why is he even holding it?
Maybe they had an 800 number or something that they...
Took off, yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
I just feel like, what's the point of holding it? Look at him.
You know, for fans at home that have never seen it, I believe you were here for it. Were you here for the WrestleMania I roundtable that we did?
No.
Myself, the Jackal, and John Cena Sr. were joined by the Iron Sheik, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and Cowboy Bob Orton. And we broke down WrestleMania I in the mid... A watch-along would have been perfect for that. But we talked mid-'80s WWF. It is available on the Patreon. If you want to get 3 WWF legends of the era sitting together talking shop, the Iron Sheik, the Iron Sheik, Paul Orndorff, and Bob Orton. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. 2.5-hour studio shoot interview DVD.
What do you think Captain Lou's, what do you call it, drinking right now?
Well, I don't know what the can is, but I can only imagine what's in it.
I don't even know what the hell the can is. I'm trying to figure it out.
I really liked Lou Albano when he came in to work for Tony Rumble. For fans that want to tie in to current WWE, Mike Rotundo is the father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Yes, sir.
And Barry Windham is their uncle.
Yes. Crazy, right?
Bray Wyatt was named after Barry Windham, as a matter of fact.
Windham Rotundo, yeah.
The heat that these two would get just by doing the national anthem.
Did you like Sheik back then?
Yeah.
Like, because you didn't name him at first. Yeah, that was one of your favorites too, huh? You like Freddie Blassie too?
By this point, he was so old, he wasn't doing much. I mean, he wasn't out there taking bumps. You know what I mean?
So this was right after, when Hogan won the title when? In 1980 what?
January of 84.
84. So this was literally...
So about 14 months after the fact.
Was Iron Sheik still way...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was still hot up until the drug bust with Duggan when they had to get rid of him.
Really?
He slowed down quite a bit because he wasn't young even when he broke
trash getting
in.
thrown at him. I love it. Oh, this is unbelievable. I love it.
Oh, yeah. When he'd do that national anthem, at least in Boston, he'd be pelted with shit.
Look at this. Just keep on coming in, too. It's crazy. I dig that.
And they were happy. They knew they were doing a good job. As long as they weren't getting hit with piss, cups of piss, or batteries or anything like that. I mean, what's an empty cup or a popcorn box?
Next time we'd see that is like NWO, when Hogan. Remember? The
Yeah.
ring's full of trash like that.
Well, this was every night back in that era.
Really? Yeah. Did you ever throw a piece of trash to the ring when you were?
No,
you never did.
Papa Marati would not have allowed that.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you maybe got one in. See, they look young to me. They don't look old like Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo. Like, they look, they're probably
Barry was really young at this point.
But they don't look old. They just look big guys, but they don't look old. Like, I thought Greg Valentine.
Hold on one sec. Okay, that's an edit of the song. Now, do you know what these two their original theme song was?
No, what is it?
Real American.
Really?
The theme song that Hulk Hogan made popular was
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And Windham, yep.
Really? Wow.
Hulk Hogan used a rip-off version of, what's the name of the song? I think it was Simply Ravishing or something like that he used over in Japan. They made an instrumental version. Look at the referee with the broom. I love it.
Really? I didn't know that,
And
no.
And then when they would still use commercial music, he used Eye of the Tiger.
So
for
when
a
did they
while.
finally switch to Real American for Hogan?
Probably right after they left.
Yeah.
And they found it to be a better fit for Hogan.
Oh my God!
He was the real
Oh my God! It
American.
was better. It was awesome. I even
if
liked.
you actually listen to that album, they introduced the song as the theme song for the two of them.
Wow. I mean, it fit him perfect. I even liked the WCW one too.
American Made.
Yeah, I like that one too. I think they both were great. Because when you think of those songs, you don't think of them. You think of Hogan.
Wyndham's runs in WWF were never that long.
Look at the Sheik looking all jacked up
All
though.
gassed up, cheeky baby. Sure, he did a few lines before the big event, and then after the event. Loved his medicine.
I remember watching an old WCW when he was in WCW at the end of it. He didn't, no good.
The Sheik?
Yeah.
When was he in WCW at the end?
Like at the end, like I'm talking about like near the end of his career.
Oh.
Yeah, because you know how you go on the network
yeah.
and you watch some old stuff, and I was just like, wow, poor Sheik, man. You could tell he was struggling in the ring then.
Well, that was right around the time they brought in JYD, and they were looking for anybody that had
just
that
give a spark, right?
WWF fame.
Did you ever ask him how it was wrestling in those boots?
No different.
No different, really, with those big old things on the top? I just feel like that would be annoying. Your feet would get hit on them, because you know what I
They
mean?
weren't heavy or anything.
No, but just the tops being like that if you're moving around and stuff.
I would be, if I was an opponent, I'd be worried about getting it in the eye accidentally.
Tripped.
Well, fans, if you are an Iron Sheik fan, the memories and legend that we created right here in this studio, DVD footage that has been seen by millions of fans online, millions on the Howard
Ooh,
Stern
missed that
show.
one.
Well, close, but no cigar.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I mean, it's all available on the Patreon. In April, we have yet another full-length Iron Sheik studio shoot interview DVD added to the collection. For those of you that can't get enough Sheiky Baby, there's a lot on there now, and there's more to come. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling.
How old was Iron then? Sheik.
Sheik here, he would have had to have been about at least in his mid-40s.
And he looked good still, and he could move.
Yeah.
Good for him. It just sucks what happened to him now. That's why I just was asking.
I'm trying to think. This was 85, and what year is it now? 2021?
21.
36 years? Yeah, he was probably in his... You see, the thing about the Sheik is he really doesn't know how old he is, so...
Oh.
He's not even sure what his birthday is. Never mind the year. He's not sure it's either March 15th or September 9th.
Really?
Yep. I found that out the night we got hit by the drunk driver, and I had to call his wife when the police needed his date of birth.
How's that even possible?
Look at who you're talking about.
Right, that's true.
He's been in your car.
Yep. Oh, yeah, he has multiple times. He loves his medicine.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Yes, sir.
He did medicine here in this studio. Someone brought it as a gift, and...
I'll never forget having to get him the 6-pack of beers and him drinking and being like, don't worry about that. Just tell him you're with Sheik. Like, yeah, okay. Open container. They'll be okay with that if I get pulled over.
Just tell him you're with the Sheik.
That's what he
all.
said. Yeah, and I'm sure the cops will be okay with that if I get pulled over.
Well, you know what? To be fair, for a lot of his life, you know what? If you were a wrestler, you could get away with
Wait
that.
with it, yeah.
I mean, he has a story on one of the DVDs about him, Roddy Piper, and cocaine down in the Carolinas and how they got out of that with a few autographed pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How awesome would it be to get him one more time in the studio, though, just to do something?
Well, I
For like a throwback, 'cause he hasn't been around.
Fans would be disappointed. They'd want that Sheik that they know from Howard Stern. And
Yeah, but I'm saying for you, because you haven't probably.
Oh,
When's the last time you actually got to see him?
when we were at that WrestleCon in New York. Remember when we were leaving, Tony and I went downstairs?
Yeah. But I mean like to actually sit down with him.
Oh, for a lengthy period of
Yeah.
time? 2010.
Yeah, so it's been 11 years. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll speak on the phone occasionally.
Right, but I meant like, you know, like an in-depth,
in
like right here,
person,
yeah. Just be cool. But like you said, he's in such rough shape now.
I still hold out hope that one we can. I don't know about something in an interview, but just some kind of an appearance to pay homage to the legend before it's all said and done.
Right on. Do that, ref. He's old, huh?
Well, they didn't go down for pinfalls 817 times a match.
That's true.
That's another one thing, and I don't remember who the hell it came up with in an interview, but it's almost like nowadays everybody wants to have that Steamboat Savage match from WrestleMania III. They want to have 1 million pinfall attempts. Everybody needs to kick out at 2 7/8. And the reason why that Steamboat and Savage match was remembered as something so special is because it was different.
Right.
You know? It happened at WrestleMania in front of 93,000 people. If these guys nowadays save their stuff for the pay-per-views, their big moments, and trying to do the same thing, like Street Profits are the perfect example. All those flips and dives that Montez Ford does.
Yeah.
If he saved some of those big moves for just the pay-per-views,
They'd be more special.
You'd remember Montez
Yeah.
Ford forever. Instead, he'll be a guy that lasts a few years, and then he goes bye-bye, and to be forgotten about.
So true.
And I'm not trying to knock the guy. I mean, that's
No, but it's just being true.
How he was taught, and that's the style that he works.
Uh-huh.
Those
Love
pointy boots, cheeky baby.
I just love it because look at how good he was if he's in his mid-40s in this.
Look at that.
Oh.
Two of the big three heel managers of the golden era, along with the late Grand Wizard Ernie Roth, who had passed away even at this point. Those were the big three. Again, if you were a heel and you had any credibility,
like you just
had
said,
one of those
yeah,
three guys managing you.
Every single one that you, like you said, had a hit manager right now. Some just got thrown in the ring. Oh, he got the tag though.
At one point, you had to be, I think, 14 years old to even attend a show at MSG.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you were a kid, you couldn't go.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It was serious shit.
Like you
They
said.
didn't want him getting hurt.
I was just saying, like you said, people got stabbed, batteries, through all that crap. You don't need to be having a 14-year-old there for that.
I mean, could you imagine a net up above the ring at the Garden in
No.
Boston like we have nowadays?
Oh, right.
Just so all the shit wouldn't hit the ring?
It's unbelievable.
Oh, gee, Sheik. Hell of a bump, Cheeky, baby.
I ain't doing that. Oh, he's got the cane. Ooh, right to the back of Wyndham.
Mike Rotundo didn't know what happened.
No.
I was happy with this result. I liked Sheik and Volkov when I was a kid.
Did they get some hats, though? To think if you could find that hat now.
Right?
What
In good
that would be
condition.
worth. Oh. Look at Fink. He's ready.
I don't think anyone's ever going to top his streak.
He's trying to give the titles. Come on, take your title.
He wanted that ref to put it on.
Yeah.
Every time I see that face, so many memories come rushing back into my head. He's
Look at him.
the only one using the mic. Good little finish. Broke the cane, I think.
I was going to say, it looked like it broke.
Well, Sheik was very stiff, as was Volkov, from what others have said. Look at how Albano's in the ring before the finish. He knew what was happening. He knew what was coming. Look at that. The referee for the next match already waiting.
Yes, sir.
What is up next here on WrestleMania? I can think of at least 3 more matches. That might be it, but this is only a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I was just looking at the
a
time.
hair over 2 hours.
Yeah. I think I might have to use the bathroom.
It's not like nowadays when you know you're going to have 5 minutes in between each match with a big video montage, a music video, a highlight package.
27 minutes to get down to the ring because
Yeah.
the ramp's so long.
Mean Gene's blown away.
Look at this players line. That's cool. Oh, here we go.
I think that's the same outfit he has on in that figure over my shoulder, is it not?
Yeah, it is. Oh my God, it is. That's cool.
Gene Mean. I always get a kick out of that. He legitimately loved wrestling in Madison Square Garden. He cut his hand, it looks like.
I just love listening to him talk because all I think about is, damn, Lelani, I'll make you hum. You know how he's talk? That's all I ever think about when I hear him talk.
Well, it's a good thing that video that we did with Jay Lethal in your car never came out. Or Sheiky might have been extinct from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Jay got a kick out of it.
I remember that.
Certainly a slow build to the bigger matches on this show.
Yes, sir.
The graphics have improved a little bit since WrestleMania I.
Right?
It was not the production phenomenon it is now.
Looks like a video game is what I was saying. It's like video game stuff now.
This is the program. You know, maybe Lord Alfred's just trying to keep track of how many more matches there are.
Or he's
I
keeping
used
that
to
one
do
for
that
himself.
With my lineup sheet that we'd get in the $3 Boston Garden program every month, it would come with the lineup sheet with all the matches.
I used to love that. I loved that. Even when I used to go, they still had the lineup sheet in it. I loved that. Because you knew who you were going to see.
The Attitude Era.
Yeah, I don't know why they stopped. I loved it.
Your buddy with this booking.
Oh, I
when
loved
they
it.
couldn't book anything in advance.
It's all right, though. Best ratings they ever had other than back then. Now they barely get two.
Andre and Stud is coming up.
All right, good. I'm gonna use the restroom, folks. I'll be right back.
Body Slam Challenge.
I'll be right back, folks.
15,000. There you go. My batteries fell out. You did good with that one. That was. I don't think that's happened here before. That's all right. Just remember to shut it off. There's no one in the control room right now. Bobby Heenan's got that WWF duffel bag filled with $15K. Mean Gene's looking for a little cash to spend at the bar later on. What a way to spend Easter, folks. Right here on Wrestling Insiders, Boston Wrestling MWF. I can't wait for these great legends. So many are gone, but those that are still with us. Saturday night, November the 13th, when we have our 20th birthday bash. Back to the 80s WrestleFest. We're going to have an autograph photo fan fest, a Legends question and answer session. We're going to have live in-ring wrestling. It's hard to believe that it's been 2 decades of doing this. I was a young 20-year-old guy. Me and my longtime friend, going back decades and decades, Neil Manolian, went to school with him, and after WWF had no use for me, took a giant leap of faith and said, let's create the Millennium Wrestling Federation, and then Boston Wrestling developed along with that. And there he is, the greatest manager, in my opinion, in wrestling history, and this comes from a guy who thinks of Paul Bearer as a second dad, Bobby the Brain Heenan and John Studd. Who was the real giant of professional wrestling? We're going to find out coming up now here at WrestleMania I. Bobby Heenan, a relative newcomer to WWF, I believe. What do you think the odds are that there's $15K in that bag? You think there's maybe even a couple hundred in there? Now, what do we got there? See, they're not getting too close in on the bag. I don't know if we got any ones in there or fives. No, Dave is literally running back into the studio. He's so excited about the $15,000 body slam
I love this
challenge.
one. I'm back. Right. Needed that. Look at the bag. How cool is that?
The fans, if they thought there was $15K in the bag.
Probably not. But I do love the bag, and I would love to have that little bag today.
And that is a little bag.
But I love it. I think it's so cool.
There.
Yeah, but how cool is that bag?
There he is.
You ever get to see him live?
Oh, yeah.
How did he look live? Was it cool? Yeah.
As I've mentioned before, when you'd run up to the barricade before the shows.
Look at him.
At the Boston Garden. He would, just to see him walk by.
That's what I'm saying.
It was like a house with legs.
So cool, man. I wish I could have seen it. Because even the Big Show doesn't do justice to someone like that.
Yeah, Andre, by the time I started watching, he came back as a relative regular on the house shows from early '88 through when he, quote-unquote, retired from WWF in 1990. When he.
So this right here, he wasn't like that popular then? Is that why he's in this kind of match? Because
Andre?
Yeah, because in WrestleMania 3, he wrestled for the that's what I'm asking you. Like in '85, where was he standing in WWE then?
Probably second from the top.
Really? And he just had this kind of...
Well, this is at least third from the top on the show.
But it's not a match.
It's not a match. What do you mean?
Like it's not like a you know what I'm saying? Like this is for the Body Slam Challenge. Like it's different.
Well, his career was on the line too here.
I guess so.
This had Andre and Stud was a huge feud.
I just feel like, and then you give him the title match too.
deserves.
I didn't know if it was like he built up the next 2 years to get that title match against Hogan.
No, at WrestleMania 2, he won the big battle royal.
Yeah, I remember, but that's what I'm saying. It was just a battle, like, you know, I don't know. That's why I was wondering, but you'd know better than me.
And then he was gone for a lot of '86.
Oh, love that. I love his headbutt, though.
He was just, at this point, he was getting so big.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures of him when he first came in. He was, like, in shape. Like, he wasn't like this, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like how it happened with the Big Show, too, remember? He came in nice and, you know, real jacked up.
Well, there's a difference. Big Show had the surgery to stop growing. Andre just never stopped growing.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not height-wise, but once he hit his peak height-wise, his insides just kept growing. Have you ever seen any 1992 Andre footage in Mexico and Japan before he died? Oh, my God. Have you ever seen me when I have my CRPS attacks? About that speed.
Really?
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. He wound up, I think it was like a sit-down splash. He shit on Bad News Brown in Mexico, and he couldn't get off of him.
Is that on tape?
I've
if it is, I got to see it. I got to see it.
I mean, if you see any footage of Andre it's so depressing, the poor guy. He just wanted to be around the business, but he couldn't walk. I mean, he'd get in the ring, and literally, he'd be holding on to the ropes.
One was like the Princess Bride and stuff like that. What year was that?
I think he taped that in '86 when he was gone. And then they wound up bringing him back as the heel, managed by Bobby in early '87.
Ooh, I like that. The big bum into the stomach.
He was scary as a heel. I just remember that. He was just scary. Seeing him come down the aisle and, like I said, watching him walk into the arena through the barricades at the Garden because he'd have to walk through the concession area.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
How big he was. I wonder if he was strong.
I never saw him as a baby face.
I wonder if he was strong because it doesn't look like he really did much lifting weights. That's why I was wondering if he was strong.
Tony said he was the strongest guy in the business.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though he probably didn't work out much because look at him.
He didn't need to.
That's what I'm saying. But I wonder, you know, I'm just curious. Because then you got a guy like Big John said who did work out, you know. So
John Stead's problem, I was told, was that he always wanted to almost be Andre. And he did so much gas, he developed cancer and he died of. Matter of fact, yesterday would have been the 26th anniversary of his death.
Really?
I remember he died March 20th.
Telling you guys, encyclopedia right next to me.
And what a nice human being John Studd was. He almost shouldn't have been a heel, even though he was good at it. Just a nice person.
That's great.
Look at the size of Andre's head.
I was just going to say, his head is like...
And John Studd is enormous. John Studd legit had to have been a good 6'5", 6'6". He was much bigger than me.
Crazy.
No, they heated this one up with when they cut his lion's mane, not to be confused with Cecil the Lion, but his lion's mane hairdo, which you've probably seen before. Him and Ken Patera and Bobby cut Andre's hair.
I wish the Lion was here.
Well, next, but it'll be past by the time the fans see this, but the night we do our WCW watch along, he will be here because he'll be having his land party.
Uh-oh.
Have you seen the episode yet recently with John Cena Sr. where you could hear him explode at me?
No, you were going to send it to me.
I didn't send you the link.
No, I got to see that.
I get so backtracked.
Oh, I got...
Screaming.
When we're done taping this, you got to show me. I got to see it. I just want to hear it.
Yeah. I'm here fucking helping you.
Were you laughing?
We were about 15 minutes into the show, and the camera changed about as many times as it has the past hour. It was just stuck on the one shot. So to try and send a hint along to Johnny, I said, geez, Johnny, I don't know if in the control room we have a technical director or a security guard.
And he just went out.
Cecil doesn't have the sense of humor that I do.
But were you laughing when he was freaking out?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet, because I know you when he starts getting loud, you start laughing.
Well, the fans and all that never got to enjoy. You know what? Did Cecil come out? Oh, no, that was Jackie that came out.
My favorite
the fans.
was when we were driving to WrestleMania, and you kept, before we left, remember the couple days before, you kept on asking him if he was coming to the big show?
We beeped in front of his house.
Oh, yeah. He never...
everybody was asking him what time he was going.
Remember you sent the text message, the group chat, and people were asking him? He was freaking.
Cecil's an easy target for me.
That was really good all day.
And you know what? The easier of a target you become, the more I want to fuck with you.
Oh, yeah.
In a nice way. You know,
right,
I've
just
never
funny.
done it with malice.
But he doesn't...
All right, here's the finish, baby.
There it is. Oof.
$15,000 richer, folks.
Doesn't he just
Where's
take the money and start throwing it?
That's what I mean. I'd like to know what denomination of bills they had in there.
I know, people get it.
And that was a good way to avoid Stud having to do a clean job.
Oh, Giant's pissed. Oh, grabbed him by the hair a little bit.
And I bet you that was done with authority because he was not a John Studd fan.
Oh, he didn't like John Studd? You know, that was going to be my next question. So he didn't like John Studd. Really?
And their feud, when Studd came back in 89, or late 88 into 89, and they tried to revive this with Studd as the face and Andre as the heel, was so bad. It was one of the smallest attended Boston Garden house show events ever in May of 89.
Why didn't they like each other?
Well, like I said a few minutes ago, you know, Andre felt like Studd was trying to invade in his territory.
Oh, I must have been.
Himself the true giant of professional wrestling.
Yes, yeah, I wasn't here for that. That's why, yeah, okay. Really? When did he switch gear? Because now, you know, he wore...
When he came back in 87 for the Hogan feud.
That's when he switched to like the...
massive back brace. And he did that thing with the strap to kind of cover it.
Okay. Because that was one of my questions.
Yeah, the baby face, he always worked like that. But then even when he turned face in other places, in Mexico, Japan, in the 90s, after he left WWF, he still had on that singlet type gear. But he always had tights up until 87.
Did the back brace help him?
I'm gonna guess, or he wouldn't have
a little
won.
bit, yeah. I didn't know if it helped him a lot during his matches.
Andre made it back pretty quick. I wonder how much wine Andre had to drink that night. What the hell's the matter with his finger? I don't think too many fans were worried about Andre retiring after this one. Well, Andre was never the greatest promo.
No, not at all. They cut him right off.
But a big win, and now the two, I almost have to call, that's why I scoff at with them trying to push that Ronda Rousey match at WrestleMania 35 is such a big deal. It was pennies on the dollar compared to what's coming up right about now as far as mainstream publicity.
Why, this was
went.
huge?
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. I was, like I said, I was 2 months
I'm trying to think of
old.
someone comparable nowadays in the entertainment world.
Literally 2 months old during this. That's why. Look at this, though. Getting a little kiss. Oh, look at that. She
look
left
at
lipstick
that.
on him.
Oh, Lord
Look at his
help him.
eyes. They go all over the place. What's wrong with them?
There was a lot of people standing behind him.
Oh.
That was a locker room sellout at the curtain. Fabulous Moolah. I don't know how many men she kissed in her life. But
I don't know. I like the one on the right, though.
Wendy?
Yeah. She
Well,
look all right.
Forget about Bret Hart. That was the victim of the first screw job in WWF history.
What do you
having
mean?
the title stolen from her.
Oh.
You weren't familiar with that.
No, I didn't know what you were talking. I thought you were trying to do an innuendo when I said I thought she was good looking. I thought you were trying to go somewhere with that. No, I do know that
there was
story.
No sexual innuendo.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
she was screwed
You
out
go
of the
all over the
Women's
place
Championship.
sometimes. You confuse me. I
Later
don't
in
know.
'85,
Oh,
when
yeah.
she wouldn't sign a contract.
Whoa.
Moolah in good shape here. She's about
What do you think about those
93.
glasses? Would you wear those?
John Cena Sr. I could see with a pair of those.
Yep.
Old Johnny Fabulous. Now, this is a woman, I don't understand how she's not in the Hall of Fame.
She looks old, too.
Lelani Kai?
Yeah, she looks kind of old.
She's in her 20s.
Doesn't she look old, though? She looks like she's 40 years old. Come
Not
on.
especially, not in the face. Maybe she kind of
People watching this with us, comment if you think she looks older than 20s.
Maybe she kind of had an older hairstyle, but in the face. Oh, Lillian Ellison.
She's loving it.
Another payday for her. And boy, did she fuck Lelani Kai and Judy Martin and the Jumping Bomb Angels out of the, again, you talk about the Women's Tag Team Championship. That was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 4.
Really?
WrestleMania 4, correct. They did a big feud. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen Royal Rumble 88 at some point. But
Of course.
that Jumping Bomb Angels and Glamour Girls was going to go into WrestleMania 4, but something happened in Japan where they were feuding, and Moolah called them and said they wanted the titles to change. So they did a title change over in Japan, and the WWF was bullshit, and they just ended it.
I've heard that story.
Because they
that
stopped using Moolah after Survivor Series 87.
You know where I've heard that? Well, I don't want to. We don't want to
No,
promote
go
that,
ahead.
but on the Something to Wrestle podcast, I've heard Bruce
Pritchard's?
Pritchard talk about that. It came up either they were discussing that WrestleMania 4 or they talked about, but I remember hearing that story.
So you should have seen a women's tag team title match at a WrestleMania for the first time at 4.
Was Girls Want to Have Fun right now? Was that the song that was popular
Yeah.
for? Now, didn't they come out to that? Did they come out to it right now?
I believe so.
Okay.
But even on the Coliseum video version, that was edited.
So it was probably edited here too, right?
I have no idea what it is right now. I'm trying to think of who would be comparable right now to Lapa, because I'm not that hip, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
And music changes quick. Top 40 music changes. But you picture who the hottest top 40 singer is and has been for the past couple of years.
Well, you know who would be?
Being
That would be
involved
like
in
her.
any- Who?
Right. Would be like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B. Like for women.
right, yeah, I know
because
those
you know,
names,
you
yeah.
know, they're so popular. I guarantee that would probably be the two that would be.
But
comparable.
Lapa had so many huge hits at this point, and to get her involved, and it all began off of a chance flight
Jesus.
when she flew home. I think they were coming from Puerto Rico, and
that?
she happened. That's her husband, Dave Wolf.
Okay, I was just wondering.
who was a music producer, who got heavily involved with producing the first wrestling album. And I'm about 90% certain he helped the tie-in with WWF and MTV, where he was so heavily involved in the music
Interesting.
industry.
Okay. Wow.
But Lapa wound up sitting next to Captain Lou on a flight, and she was a big fan. And Lou helped get her into the mix with WWF.
And then from there it took off. Mm-hmm. How long was she around wrestling once this? Not that long, or?
Maybe about a year total.
Okay.
Because I wasn't watching, I don't remember when she left.
Okay.
I know that I believe the screw job with Mueller and Richter was November of '85, and she was long gone by then.
All right. Wow.
She served her purpose.
Yep.
But there's only so much you could do with her. You know what I mean?
You think someone like her drew a lot of people's eyes to the.
This was the semi-main
I'm gonna say,
event.
yeah. So it must have.
You know how many people knew about this in mainstream media compared to, I'm going to laugh, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch
Right.
at WrestleMania 35?
Yep, I know
Which
what
I
you
don't
mean.
think anyone outside of the wrestling industry had a clue was happening.
Well, since we're on this now, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about having like somebody that's not in wrestling come for like WrestleMania, like take spot, like say a Bad Bunny, that's probably gonna have a match at WrestleMania? Do you think you like that, having them involved?
It depends on who it is. I have no idea who Bad Bunny is.
Right.
I see him every week on TV now. I still
Yeah.
know nothing about the guy.
Well, I was listening to.
If this was old school, they'd be playing music videos. They try and establish who he is more than just he's a musician that's a friend of Damian Priest's. You know what I mean?
Well, like I was listening. I mean, whatever you want to take with his opinion, but Zack Ryder on his podcast was talking about how he likes having one of the, a couple people because they create matches for more people to get on WrestleMania. People say that having a celebrity on the match takes away from somebody, but like you're going to get 3 guys in that match now because it's obviously going to be a tag team match that has a match on WrestleMania.
If you can get an A-list celebrity, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you go bootleg, why bother?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if Bad Bunny has that value to WWE because I don't know enough
Well, I
about
was
the
actually,
guy.
my barber's Spanish, and I was asking about Bad Bunny if he knew. He did know that. He doesn't watch wrestling at all, but he knew Bad Bunny was in WWE and knew that. Because I was
okay.
asking him, because you know how we and you, when we talk our review shows, we don't know. He said he's huge with the Spanish community. Huge. Like he's one of the biggest
then
stars.
That's important to WWE.
And he said he even knew that Bad Bunny was in WWE and was going to be on WrestleMania. So
Wow.
I guess it's working in at least that part of it.
He's all over the advertising for
Yep.
it, so they got plans for the guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, is he someone, again, they're not looking to really, well, at this point, they'd take just about any fan base they could
And
get.
the thing
but
is that with him doing it, they don't sell pay-per-views anymore. They sell subscriptions, which they don't even really do that anymore because they're not going to have it. It's going to be on the Peacock. And like you said, if you have Comcast, you have it for free.
Yeah.
So like, what is the value? Basically just...
What is the, well,
That's
to
what I'm-
WWE, the network value is about $1 billion, well,
I'm saying, but
$200
that's...
million a year from a Peacock. But
Right, but what I'm saying, having him on, what is the value of him? Bringing eyes to...
You know, I understand the value of trying to get a mainstream celebrity on. That's why I thought the Shaq thing,
Right.
AEW was just kind of, because Shaq's a 48-year-old man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Same thing with Mike Tyson. I mean, 98 Mike Tyson was huge to get Mike Tyson.
Right.
When the whole thing with Rodman fell apart in 1997, that was a tough blow to WWF. They had big plans for Rodman,
Right.
and then he wound up going to join the NWO.
Well, there we go.
But if it's just one of these, remember when they were doing the celebrity guest host of the week on Raw? They had so many wastes of time.
Yep. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Who was that Bozak that wrestled, I think, at WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta? Snooki?
Yeah, I was just going to
I mean,
say.
come on.
Well, that's what
I knew who I even knew her.
Well,
But I
that's
mean,
why I was going that
come
route.
on.
Yeah. But that's what Zack Ryder was talking about, was actually what you're talking about, because that created a spot for 3 other people, her being on that, having that match.
Well,
because
you asked John Morrison his thoughts on that, and he's extremely
but
angry about
would have
that,
John
'cause it
Morrison been on that event without her?
Yeah, because she took Melina's spot.
You think she
If
would have
you
had a
watch
match?
the end of that match, you can tell that John Morrison wanted to be there about as much as I would want to be around.
See, I don't know. Would he have been on the card, though, without that match?
Yeah. He
You
was
think
over
so?
Enough. Sure. Look at
See,
how
I don't know.
limited that roster was in 2011.
Right, no, and I get it. I just try to think about it like that, like how Ryder said it. Would if they had the match without him? Would they have, would he have been on the card? Maybe you're right. Maybe not, though. I don't know. It's one of those, 50-50.
Maria Menounos. I mean, she's a very nice woman.
Right.
Medford woman. Pretty woman.
Oh, very,
But I
very,
mean,
very beautiful.
Did
Was-
anyone ever order a pay-per-view or watch the show because she was going to be on?
No.
Oh, look at that, Moolah and Lapa.
Like, I think if you, like we were just talking about for people like with Cyndi Lauper up to her, like what would it be? I think honestly, if you had a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B, like someone like that, I think that would get people to watch. Because a lot of people watch everything they do. They love whatever she does, whatever that other woman, you know what I'm saying? I think they would tune in at least for that part of the event.
Well, Bunny has been around now, what, 2 months or so?
Yeah.
And it hasn't done anything for the
No.
TV ratings. Well, not exactly. But
No. Nope.
it was a short plane ride.
Jesus.
So,
You like that frog splash, though?
yeah. Wendi Richter wasn't bad.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We have a great interview on the YouTube
Ooh.
channel that John Cena Sr. did with Lelani Kai.
Really?
Yeah. I think Lelani definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. You talk about someone like Molly Holly going in this year, is she a mid-carder in a small women's division for the majority of her time?
Yeah.
In a title that everybody held just about once? I mean, come on.
And it's crazy because so many people said it was well-deserved and everything, but then you have someone
'Cause
that's...
she was a nice person.
And
Everybody
you're a
liked
realist,
her.
but you're being a realist about it, about like honesty. But then you look at all the people that tweeted. I mean, you got anybody from The Rock all the way down to like, Shane Helm, all those people just saying it was well overdue,
It's all WWE hoopla.
Right.
Kai, I mean, she deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I
This
totally
match
agree.
was enormous as far
Oh,
as
absolutely.
the success of the first WrestleMania goes. Well, that sucked, but
The finish was awful. Oh my God. What in the hell?
well, history was made here at Madison Square Garden, folks.
Let me ask you this. Why wasn't the WWE champion, WWF champion, whatever, defended on the first WrestleMania then?
They couldn't put Mr. T in a singles match.
But you don't think it would have... It's just crazy to me having your first WrestleMania, you don't even have the biggest title defended. Isn't that kind of nuts?
You know what? They were looking at creating just a big monster
Monsters,
event that were
yeah.
going to get people to watch. They didn't know that 37 years from now they'd still be having it every spring. you
Not
know?
even Vince. You don't think Vince ever thought?
Even Starrcade, at this point, there were only 2 of them.
Right. I was just wondering what you thought about that, just because you figure your biggest title.
I think for history's sake, it would be kind of cool to say Hogan and Piper was the main event of the first one, but Hogan and Piper would not have done the business that this show did with Mr. T involved.
So you
in the
like
main
Mr.
event.
T being part of it?
For as popular as he was, he
Yeah.
fit the, unlike Bad Bunny, Mr. T looked like a badass guy that could kick the shit out of
Like
you.
Bad. It's so weird just saying that name, Bad Bunny. I honestly, when I was asking my barber about it, I felt weird asking him. So what do you think of Bad Bunny? Just saying it like that, like, huh? But he knew right away. He's like, oh, I like him. He's into that wrestling stuff that you like. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's gonna be on WrestleMania, right? And that's how it started.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, crazy.
And this was just all over the news, all over MTV. What a perfect combination WWF and MTV were for each other, and then they both got greedy and they ended the relationship until they brought back Sunday Night Heat after it was well past its prime. Yeah, this isn't a replay I would have gone out of my way to show, but
No. See it here.
I don't know why Moolah was trying to get up on the middle row, or trying to get up on the apron, I should say.
I feel like she was supposed to roll with it and she couldn't get over, and that's how it had to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what was Moolah doing?
Oh, Mullah, who knows?
Or maybe Lapa was supposed to pull her down and she wasn't
And
in
she
position
forgot her
or
spot,
something.
yeah.
I mean,
But she did her
this
job,
match
like you
didn't
said.
have the value, obviously, that Hogan and Mr. T did, but it got a lot of mainstream publicity. Far more than anything Ronda Rousey ever did for WWE. Far more. I mean, you can't even compare the two.
Right? What's
It would
this?
have been interesting to see if they tried to put this in a stadium, what it would have drawn. It was so hot. There's Liberace, who I'm sure enjoyed hanging out in the locker room.
That voice sucks, I'll tell you that.
Richter still has resentment towards them to this day.
She got a lipstick all over her teeth?
Yeah.
Jesus. Look how small the title was.
The women's titles were always very small.
Look at
like
that thing, though.
Yeah.
Main event time?
Main event time, baby.
Let's go.
Batten down the hatches. It's kind of a long sheet that the Fink has
Right?
there. I mean, are there that many announcements?
They don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, leading up to this, they had Mean Gene going down to spring training, doing interviews with them, just as the guest ring announcer.
Look at him. He's ready.
I can only imagine the amount of alcohol that Billy Martin and Mean Gene drank together when they went to tape those vignettes. Because I'm pretty sure that Billy was known as an alkie. If my baseball mind is accurate on that, there may be some Yankee fans that would know better than I, but I believe Billy was a drunk.
Well, he didn't even pull the collar down on his bow tie, so he might have already been a couple glasses in, huh?
Well, maybe that's why Mean Gene needed the card to get through the national anthem. This is the Hall of Famer Pat Patterson.
I think he has to hold it for him. Oh, there he goes.
Come on, Billy.
Oh, he is hamming. Liberace wishes he had the talents of Lanny Poffo, but... Oh, boy. Look at him. He's ready.
He probably came out to New York, I'm going to guess.
How come WWE couldn't use any of that stuff now, even because it was part of their show? Shouldn't they be allowed to use it?
Well, they didn't have the rights to it. You know, almost like at sports games and whatnot now.
But they played it rarely during WrestleMania when you watched it, right? Like back in '85, I'm talking about.
Well, they weren't them coming out to a commercialized song like that. They're not making any money off of it.
Right, but what I'm
home video on.
I just don't understand why it can't be played in its distribution like it was when it was first there. I would say if they
wanted to pay the rights fees for it.
See, I don't get why that works like that.
Because why would, if you're the creator of, if you're Frank Sinatra, why would you not want to make any money off of something being sold on home video?
Well, what I'm saying, but it was okay to use it for that event. So I figure if it's live and it's taped, you should be allowed to use it for that one thing. Now they can't put it on anything else, like show a part of it during, like, say if they had Raw back then.
Live, even now they could do that.
Oh,
and it wouldn't be an issue. It's the usage of it after the fact.
Okay.
Look at Liberace.
Oh, you loved him, huh?
I bet he was dancing around the locker room like that, seeing Barry Windham and Rotundo.
Come on. Jesus. Did you like him? He was before my time, so I don't even know nothing about him.
I was told he did a great job by those that were around at the time. He understood what they wanted him to do, and he did it well. I guess that was it.
He must have been wicked popular to have him on the show, right?
He was a very popular entertainer.
Yeah? What was his thing? I don't even know who he really
was. He was a singer.
Was he good?
Long before my time.
What? This must have been the big thing about singers then, huh? 2 singers on it, a baseball man.
Liberace's prime was probably 30 years before this.
Look at Muhammad Ali. Love him. Poor guy.
He just wanted a spot.
He just doesn't look the same.
He was disappointed that the Patterson was the ref.
He just doesn't look right.
He was starting to slow down even at that point.
I feel bad, man. Look at him.
And Jose's looking for a payday.
Yep, he was like, "Ah, can I get something?"
Patterson going over the spots with Ali.
Yep. Howard said, "Let me just do the rest, buddy."
This is going to take forever. I thought this was a really good entrance.
I always loved Piper's music. I loved his entrance. And the bagpipes are so cool.
Just a lot of people they have around that small area of the ring.
Right? Did you like Piper's music?
Yeah.
I loved it. I just thought it was so cool. I love the drum. Doom. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think people will remember it as much as Drew McIntyre's.
I bet he has something like this at WrestleMania. Guaranteed it.
Well, he did in New York, didn't he? Didn't he have people play the drums or something when
Oh,
he
I
came
don't know.
out and that when he lost to Roman at 35?
Was it?
I know they did. They had some. He came out with some kind of a band. I don't know if it was bagpipes.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I just assume that he's going to have an extravagant. Whoa. Whoa. But I just feel like it's going to be because this time it's in front of an audience. It's going to be huge. Because if you think about it, none of them last year were anything special.
No.
Because they were in front of nobody, so you know. Trash getting thrown in the
And
ring.
again, folks, 2 of the 3 men right there are part of our WrestleMania I studio shoot interview DVD. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Cowboy Bob Orton, and the Iron Sheik join myself, John Cena Sr. and the Jackal for a roundtable discussion of WrestleMania I and everything mid-80s WWF. You can find it, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Cheap plug. The old Cowboy, a man we've seen a lot of here in the MWF beyond the studio shoot.
Yes, sir.
He's competed in the squared circle. He was in the co-main event of Soul Survivor 2 back in 2004. Paul Orndorff, a very good man, a very respectable man. We look forward to hopefully having him with us at our Back to the 80s WrestleFest Saturday night, November the 13th.
Would you love to have been able to do something with Piper?
Oh,
Yeah.
the interview that him and I could have produced.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't using real
I was going to
American
say, they
voice.
have him coming out, though, now. But it's funny because the fans erupted just like he was, though.
I don't think that was real either, but
Right here?
yeah, I think that was sound sweetened.
No, but I'm saying look at the fans, though. I'm not
Oh,
saying the
when they got
noise. I'm
up,
just
I see
saying,
what
yeah,
you
they
mean,
got
yeah.
up right when, whatever music he was using then.
Vinnie Mac.
I didn't even see him. I missed it.
The Sheiky baby trying to get a peek. SD.
Oh, there he is. Look at
Walker
Snooker.
and Sellout. Jimmy doesn't know what year it is at that point, but
He just knows he's getting a payday, right?
on the home video version of this, you don't even get Jesse and Gorilla's commentary.
Really?
They just totally dubbed out Eye of the Tiger with some generic song for him and for Wendi Richter. Copyrights were a bitch.
Unreal. Look at that. He ripped off his
Damn.
shirt. Hogan's ready. Look at him. We got Mr.
Another
T.
guy with the broom. Jesus, look at that.
He's got more TV time than everybody. Was he even hitting the ground with the broom when he was doing that?
He's worried they're not done yet.
They're not done.
They actually had a house show at MSG 2 weeks to the day before this that I believe sold out as well to give it the final build.
Look at that mustache he's got.
Not as thick as it would become in later years.
No, it was a goatee after, right?
No. Well, you know, there were times like in WCW
Yeah,
he kind of grew it out to a beard. But I mean, in later 80s WWF,
It was more like a handlebar.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
one's
wait
like
minute, he's got the broom.
Oh, he got mad at that
The
guy.
old guy doesn't.
Look at
So what
Patterson.
am I
He just
supposed to
figured.
do with my fucking broom?
I know he's all upset. See him? They're like, just get out of the ring, buddy. Get out. I was like,
I
Jesus.
love my broom. Oh, here's Liberace with his little bell.
Look at all the
right.
rings he's wearing. I don't know. Mr. Wonderful. Look at him jacked out of his mind. Love it.
An intense human being, in and out of the ring.
I
but a
just
really
love it.
good
I love the
guy.
guys that spend time to look the part. That's my favorite. You know where you're going to be with your shirt off. This is a shirt, a body business. And when you don't come back, just like what I was saying, when you have these comebacks that come back at WrestleMania and they don't look good. Christian looked great. Edge knew they were coming. They look great. Then you got a guy like Greg Helms. Kid me? Come back looking about 400 pounds.
There's
Just
a little
bothers
bit-
me.
oh, please.
Just bothers me. You know you're coming back. Get in shape.
I bet Liberace was having the time of his life being so close to this.
Love it. Are you excited to see Hogan at Mania?
This year?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it this year just because they're already doing the Hall of Fame with
It's
him.
in
You know what I mean?
Tampa.
Why overdo it?
Because he lives in Tampa?
So?
You're not excited? Oh, I'm excited. What Hogan are we going to get, though? We're going to get the NWO one?
I'll say this. I would have rather have had the hosting, than the Hall
Them
of Fame
getting-
again.
But are we going to get the Hogan NWO since it's the Hogan NWO getting...
You probably get Hogan NWO the night Titus hosts, and then Red and Yellow Hulk the other night.
I can't believe they're using Titus.
Please.
When I seen that, I
Oh,
texted you right away
What an
because
embarrassment.
the poor guy. Why are they using him? Because he's just...
I don't want to say on camera.
We'll leave it at that then. I get you. I know what you're saying.
Also, you know what? A good man that does a lot of
Oh,
great
he
work
is.
for
He's
the
fantastic.
community.
Yeah,
But as
absolutely.
someone that has any value to a professional wrestling show, can you think of, other than when he almost fell going into the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and
The
cracked his
greatest
skull
Royal
open,
Rumble.
can you think of anything that man has ever done of any interest or a match that was any good in over 10 years with that company? Please. This is heat, baby, right here. Back to something I'm actually
They didn't
interested
like
in.
each other, right?
No. Piper couldn't stand T. And Orndorff, I don't think, cared for him much either. Now, see, this was done so well compared to how they exposed T at WrestleMania 2 when they did the boxing match between Piper and Mr. T.
Pipe probably could have really kicked his ass, too.
Different people say different things. Some people
It's just
say
Piper
that-
was actually a real wrestler, too.
Oh, Piper was a badass. Piper
Yeah.
was a tough guy. He would have eaten T alive. Other people said T won these tough man competitions out in Chicago. He was a bodyguard for celebrities before
Really?
he became an actor. And
I just
whatnot.
thought he was
So,
always a
I don't
TV
know.
actor.
I remember he wrote an autobiography and he alluded to killing someone in the autobiography. I remember I
Jesus.
got it as a gift when I was a kid and I was taken aback. If I remember the story right, the man that he may or may not have killed raped either his mother or a sister or something like that. And I can't believe I remember that, considering I think I got the book in the 3rd or the 4th grade.
Definitely took an imprint on your head then.
Yeah.
Oh. Here comes Hogan. He can't take it anymore.
Hulkster's had enough.
Yes. The hair's flying
Look
everywhere.
at this.
You got Snooker up there, Bob Orton.
Ali wasn't even supposed to get in the ring, but Patterson's trying to get the other ref out.
Look at the friggin' Maham throwing
That's
some.
what I mean. He
What's he
wasn't
doing?
supposed to be in there.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
He just got sick of it, huh?
He wanted part of the action. He wanted T-spot probably in his mind, whatever the poor guy
Look
was
at him
thinking.
throwing blows. Patterson's like, come on, get out of here, bud. You're not even supposed to be in there. Well, all of them are trying to get him out now. T was shaking him on the head, like, come on.
You
Here
can
you go,
tell
get out.
Orton's a little hot. He wasn't expected to be taking a shot from Muhammad Ali.
No.
Billy Martin
He doesn't
ready
know
for a
what-
cocktail as soon as it's over.
He's probably already got one.
He's probably got a flask in his suit jacket.
Taking swigs during every time. Oh, I love it.
Mel Phillips looking on to see if there's any future ring boys in the crowd.
Jesus, come on.
Look, Ali's still chasing him.
over.
That's a tough spot to be in, you know what I mean? I mean, they're trying to work out a match, and all of a sudden you have Muhammad Ali
Right.
trying to insert himself at will.
Look at him. He's letting people know.
And Patterson wasn't that far removed from his career at that point. And I don't think they ever announced that he was going to be the referee. I could be wrong. I wasn't like I said, this was before I started watching. It was the same thing like when he reffed LT and Bam Bam at WrestleMania 11. He just helped call the spots for the celebrity.
Hogan in his prime. Look at him. I love it.
Even the camera work isn't that great here.
I was going to say, hard cam the whole
I mean,
time?
the majority of the, well, just even the hard cam itself, the majority of
It
the
should be
screen
up higher.
is just blackness.
Yeah. It should be closer and a little bit higher.
Well, that was the typical MSG shot, but you'd think for WrestleMania they would have
There you go.
tried to go a little tighter or something.
Oof. Ooh, nice
That
hip
was
toss.
very good. That was very good.
Yeah. Another slam.
Orndorff made him look like $1 million on that hip toss. It's sad that in WWF history, these two never had their big blow-off.
Nope. So true.
It was garbage matches
I was
they
gonna
had in
say.
WCW.
Yeah.
And the reason is, Piper wouldn't do what Orndorff was willing to do, which was take the 3 count.
Really?
Even in this match, Piper was originally supposed to lose, and he got Vince in the bathroom. I don't know if it was this night or leading up to the event, and he said, "Who does it make more sense to really have lose this match, me or Orndorff?" And they wound up having Orndorff take the pin, but Orndorff would go on to, the run he'd have with Hogan. They had a house show in Toronto that they had to move to a baseball stadium. There's Ali trying to get involved again.
I know, right? What the hell?
With Billy Martin so stiff, he wasn't trying to get in the ring. And then Liberace wishes he wanted to get stiff. But that's a different story for a different time with Liberace.
Jesus, here we go with
This little
that.
bell.
Dives at him.
Really not much he could do at that point. They're
No.
grabbing his leg. Look at her.
He's in there again.
Oh, poor Pat Patterson earned his money this night.
I love it. Patterson's trying to get him to get out. You know what's crazy? If you're watching this, though, live, you don't even know that's not supposed to be going on.
I think at one point he was supposed to ref the match, or at least they insinuated it, almost like they did with Tyson for WrestleMania 14, that he was going to actually get in there and ref the whole match. If that ever happened, how this would have fallen apart, I can't even imagine.
Oh, right? Patterson
Jimmy
fixing his
Snuka, I don't
pants.
even think we've seen him since the entrance.
Nope.
That was near the end of Jimmy in WWF until he came back at WrestleMania 5. The Cowboys calling the shots from the ring apron.
Oof. Oh, he's ready now. Hogan's going to get pumped up soon.
First angle I ever really remember seeing on TV was Orndorff turning on Hogan the next year. His babyface
Backbreaker.
turn wasn't for very long. I remember the build-up to it, the match, the turn. It was excellent. And it did record business. Decent punches right there from
I was
T.
going to say, he didn't look too bad.
Oh. Until today, I didn't remember Ali being as involved as he was. I remembered that big spot when he ran in and took the swing at Orton. And Orton's and Ali's still on the apron.
I know, like
It's
he's a tag team.
Like I'm surprised he didn't stick out his hand trying to get a tag from one of them.
For Patterson. Let me in, buddy. Oh, man.
Yeah, I really didn't remember Ali as that active. Patterson's looking over like, what are we going to do to get this fucking guy off the ring apron?
No. He keeps on looking at him, too. Look at him. He's still looking at him.
Hulkster probably went over and helped. Two or three big spots, that's all you needed to do to make this work.
Yep.
The more they're in there, the more they're going to be exposed. He's not going to know, he's not going to sell the way you need him to sell. Those punches to Orndorff in the corner were great. That hip toss to Orndorff was great. Up the fly. Cowboy, very underrated. He would take some great bumps. Here we go. Patterson somehow overlooked the fact that all I tell you, they had a heck of a time putting that one together, but in the end the fans were happy. Ali is in the way of the hard camera again.
He's in the ring. He made sure he got back in there one more time.
Great camera shot right there. I like that shot. Liberace rang the bell. Look at that. Ali's got to tuck his shirt in. He's so worked up. Patterson gets his bump.
I was going to say, someone just fell, Patterson. Jesus.
Pat loved taking his bumps. Mel Phillips scored in them to the back. Mr. T showing a little concern for Paul Orndorff after getting knocked out by that cast. Orndorff doesn't know what to think. Fight or friends?
Man, Orndorff was built. Look at him. Well, he's still up there. He doesn't move, huh?
I wonder at what point they realized they were in for trouble with Ali. No.
It is.
What great, just great intensity, credibility. That man looked like he was angry and pissed.
Oh, absolutely. Flex off. Used to love this, right?
Liberace. He wants to do a little posing. There's the infamous moment right before the credits of Saturday night's main event when the show would open. Right there, an iconic pose. About the only good camera shot they could probably get without Ali getting in the way.
Did you get in front of your little TV and do the posing too?
Me?
Yeah, when you were a kid.
I'm sure I did when I was a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
I liked the Hulkster.
I love the Hulkster. I had a bathrobe. I had a Hulk Hogan bathrobe.
Bathrobe?
Yep.
Oh.
I loved it.
It was Liberace, certainly a great statesman.
Oh, he's
For
ready.
the king of sports.
Fixing his shirt, jacket, whatever it is.
Ali's looking at him probably thinking, who the fuck is this guy?
I know. Patterson just wants him to get out of there. He keeps on grabbing him.
Well, no, at this point, I think all the celebrities were supposed to gather.
Because you see him keep on trying to grab Ali.
I think Patterson knew he was in the way of the hard camera.
Well, that was a great watch-along, WrestleMania 1. I
Unbelievable.
enjoyed that a lot.
What would you give WrestleMania 1 on the scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, my God. Before its time, I mean, it had to be top because it was such a big thing, like you said, from what you just describing it to me through the whole time we watched it.
How did Patterson know? There were just too many guys involved at that point.
Yeah, but for what it was, I mean, good. I'm
asking a 1 to 10.
For what it was, and like you were telling me all the behind stories, I'd say definitely got to be a 7 out of 10.
So I'd give it about a 6.
I'm just saying from what you told me about it, you know, everything that it did, and it did what it was supposed to do. And
more important, what it did for the company. More
right,
than the
and that's the
actual
thing
event
too. And I
itself.
mean, like you said, at that time, there was 7 out of 10. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, we were pretty close on that one.
That's right. Hogan's like, man, I'm tired. Is Ali still in the ring?
Dinner. Ali.
I don't see him behind him. Where is he? Is he in the ring still just doing something?
An easy payday for Jimmy.
And that's it.
And I think we get a closing interview with Mean Gene, if I remember right.
There it is.
Everybody had such big entourages that showed up. I know T showed up with a lot of people. Ali showed up with a big crew of people. Major coup for WWE to get these people involved. And a week from now, we'll be outside in Tampa, Florida, hopefully under sunny skies.
It will
taking
be
in
beautiful.
WrestleMania 37.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Will it have the impact on the industry that this did? No, but
we will see Hulk
hopefully
Hogan.
We'll see Hulk Hogan. We will not see Jimmy or Gene. I'd be surprised if T showed up, but you never know.
You never know. He might sit there. He might come.
No, this should be good. Tell him, Jimmy. What a happening, fans.
Awesome.
No. They were ready to hit the subway home after that one. No, you know what I like about these watch-along type shows? It makes me forget about what's on TV nowadays. Sometimes when I watch an interview or I read a book or I watch something old, for a few minutes I forget about how much sports entertainment of 2021 drives me nuts. And hopefully you guys felt the same way watching along with us tonight. And if you want more great interviews and memories and legends and such, again, there's no better place than patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Early ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider weekly interviews, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, Patreon exclusives, including the Marty Jannetty watch-along coming next week, an Iron Sheik studio shoot interview coming in the month of April, another brand new DVD to add to the collection. And you know you get to help keep Wrestling Legends working. Again, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. And again, no matter where you are in the world, we're open for business 24/7. Patreon, geez, am I getting tired now or what? The eBay store is open 24/7. The link can be found in the description box below as we prepare to load up the plane and head to Tampa for Wrestle House.
Can't wait.
The super chat to my right, it's still open if you had some fun. Whether you have $1 or $1,000, it goes a long way to try and help keep Pro Wrestling Legends working. A big thumbs up if you had fun helps. You can subscribe to the channel for free. Hit that little notification bell, and you'll never miss any of our daily videos we release. Not just 4 talk shows a week, TV review programs, history videos, flashbacks, watch-alongs, we do it all. We do it all. And we can't wait to have the live wrestling again at the latest coming your way again. Mark your date on that calendar. Saturday night, November the 13th, Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts, just 2 blocks down the road. They really went all out with the... that's Ed Cohen.
Yeah.
That was the guy that I worked with in WWF.
Right there,
I'm
look
glad
at
that his name was in the credits.
It's awesome.
Steve Taylor he took the photos there forever. I wish I paid more attention to this, to see Jim Barnett. Well, I'm sure him and Liberace hung out together. I don't know if that was the MSG network. Well, fans, I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to try and do more of them. Sunday nights, we don't have a regular show, so maybe we could try and do more on Sundays.
Yeah, that'd be
We'll
fun.
have to wait
I enjoy doing these.
Pay-per-view weekends. What happens in April after WrestleMania, it remains to be seen. Wrestle House, WrestleMania week is going to be something for us. But we are running out of time here on WWE Network. For my partner in crime, Mr. Carter, I'm Dan Marati. It's Sunday night now, so the next original episode, Tuesday night at 9, we'll have our Raw review. Then Tony Atlas will be with us Tuesday night at 10 for Wrestling Insiders at your house. Until we speak again, you and yours, be well, stay healthy. Good night.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Guam Fieldhouse in Mangalore, Guam, Sunday, March the 31st, 1991. In the opening contest, Haku beat Shawn Michaels. Superfly Jimmy Snuka with the win over WWF Intercontinental Champion Mr. Perfect via countout. The Barbarian defeated Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich victorious over $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. My Thursday night partner in crime, Marty Jannetty, beat Greg the Hammer Valentine. The Legion of Doom with the win over Demolition. And in the main event, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, replacing the Ultimate Warrior, defeated Sergeant Slaughter. If you were in Mangalore Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep Wrestling Legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.